Johnny Depp was found guilty and will die by hanging. Unfortunate. Woo! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Woo! What up, family? Slay Queen. Slay. Johnny Depp didn't win though. I believe that they both were found guilty of defamation against one another. So she owes Johnny Depp money, he owes her money, and that's, I don't know, she's gonna appeal or some shit. I don't fucking know. She's in debt forever. Yeah, I don't know. She seems like a real piece of shit. But I guess it's a good thing in some fashions. Like, I thought the case was good in the fact that it like opened more people's eyes in like a generalized sense to the concept of like, you know, false accusations and those kinds of things, you know. But I'm not sitting there saying that like Johnny Depp is some sort of angel bird, you know what I mean? Who cares, honestly? Nah, for real. For real, who gives a shit? I don't get $5 million, that's some bullshit. Why? How come all of us being forced to watch it every goddamn day, we deserve a little money? Am I right, boys? Come on now. We all get a little piece of that pie too, don't we? Or do we just, are we just forced to watch Pirates of the Caribbean 6? Jacob Bowling with the first dono of the night says, Joel, the King of Kings is in the house. Jacob, I was having a little bit of a thought recently. I have thoughts in my head. I don't know if you guys also have these from time to time, but for me, they are many and they are pervasive. Now, the thought that I was having today was, now I know previously you were the artist formerly known as the Cerebral Assassin prior to becoming the King of Kings. Now, I wanted to run something by you. I was think tanking some concepts, and I was thinking, what if we changed your nickname to the Cerebral Assassin because you're so sassy? Yeah? What do you think about that? Mull it over, think about it. We're just removing a few letters, but it's just kind of, I think it really encompasses your personality in a sort of a grander degree. Demi Windsor, welcome back to the Buttersock Cult for 5 whole months. Is just in time for some killer content. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Demi. Glad you can be here. It's your birthday, Beefy Boss. Happy birthday. And Leah's World, thank you. Good to see you. Good to see everybody. Welcome to the stream. For the first 20 minutes or so, we are just chilling, letting people get notified by YouTube's noti system. And then we are reading, if you didn't see the title, we're reading some secret admirer stories. My God. Anybody here got a secret admirer? Also, that song was from, I'm not sure how you say their name, Sewer SLVT. The song was called New Love. And these jams are the 300K celebrational mix from Smooth Sounds over on YouTube. Yo. Cats Alley Art with the 5. What's up? What's up, cats? Got any art for us today? And David De La Rosa Jr. with the 2 says, hi, Joe. How are you doing, buddy? I'm doing great. I wanted to warn you guys. I was forced in my workout today to do a shit ton of push-ups. So should we, end up in the realm of push-ups, I'm gonna be a little burnout, but I'm gonna push through it. I'm gonna push up through it for y'all. I do this for you. I did this for us. I thought I heard something upstairs for a second. I'm like, oh shit. Jacob Bowling with the 2 says, tonight I will retire the King of Kings character. Jeez. It was a short-lived title. One whole stream. He'll be going back to the cerebral assassin because he's such a sassy fella. Joel, you can do cajals. What's a cajal? I normally can't catch a stream, but I did today. Well, welcome, Blizzard. Happy to have you. Also, let me know if the music is too loud for you. Ivan Cruz with the 5. Hello, Ivan. Thank you, my friend. And Mr. Boogeyman says, Joel, do you train at home or at a gym? I hit back and biceps this morning. Nice. Yeah, I go to the gym. Recently started doing more CrossFit classes again just because I want to get the cardio in. And oh shit, wait, I know this song. Oh, it's Mr. Kitty, After Dark. I listened to a shit ton of Mr. Kitty. I haven't heard him in a while though. Do you ever have that way where you like go through like a few weeks of just like listening to the same artist over and over and over again, and then you know you might move on to something else after kind of getting tired of it, but then you hear it later and you're like, oh shit, that's my shit. Jacob with the 2 says, the King of Kings character did not fit me. Jacob, you know yourself best, and I know you're an honest man, and thank you for the 2. But yeah, song name. This is, yeah, Mr. Kitty After Dark, wave edit by Spiral. S-P-Y-R-A-L, Spiral. On the Smooth Sounds mix, 300K mix. You're listening to it live on the Let's Read YouTube radio station channel / reading spooky stories till we die. Cooking with Ghosts? Who's cooking with Ghosts? Don't give out details you don't want your stalker to piece the little things together. This is true. Sometimes I'll get text messages and stuff. Damn it. Probably shouldn't even said that. I've been baited. Oh yeah, one of our mods was attacked. IRL. Who's up playing with a worm? Pretty much everyone. We all have like a communal worm that we play with and share. You know who's cooking with ghosts? I don't know. Do I have a secret admirer? I've got over 800,000 secret admirers. They love me so much that they return every episode. You think my auto warranty is about to expire? It always is. It's always just on the cuff, but I give it just a little bit more oil to keep going. Vroom vroom, baby. When am I releasing the next podcast episode? Yeah, so it's every Tuesday, me blokes, at noon EST. So the newest one was just released this previous Tuesday, day after Memorial Day, the 31st of May. It was called I Was Nearly Kidnapped. But yeah, I'm on a weekly schedule as far as podcasts go, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday on YouTube. Sarah Mueller with the 2 says, hi, I hope you have a good stream. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate you. Have you watched Kenobi yet? You know, I haven't, but I heard it was a little corny. I don't know. Is that true? Need a Pradeep update. He is always behind me, actually. Orchid update. Orchid's doing good. Give it a little bit of like a water spritz every morning. And I don't know, it's in a good area of sunlight, but yeah, its petals are pretty starting to get a little bit droopy. It's got the droopage. It's contracted the droopage. I gave it. It's a human to plant virus. You're working on your alcohol tolerance for Saturday. Oh yeah, good. Thank you for. It's a good transition. Saturday is my birthday, and I would be honored if all of you would come join me for a Saturday stream around 9 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time, where I may or may not get a little sloshy with some peanut butter whiskey called Screwball, and attempt to read stories to my best of my abilities for Monday's video. Oh yeah, and the new background here. This is from Robin. He made it specifically just to promo the stream, or Saturday's stream, which is pretty baller. And I love it. And David with the 1. Thank you, David. And Lynn Ragsdale with the 2 says, here, get my man Pradeep some cheese, please. I think cats can have a little salami. A lot of people have been asking, and it's true. Cats can have a little salami. Maybe a little cheese. SJ Curtis with the 2 says, I want to make you some music. Do it up. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, if you got it on YouTube or wherever, just tag me on Twitter or tag me on Instagram or something like that, and I will be able to give it a gander. Your mom's birthday's on Saturday too. Nice, dude. Happy birthday, mommy. Don't get canceled on Lebi Day. I think I'll be alright. I've handled myself pretty well. What are you going to be drinking so I can get... Oh yeah, the old Screwball whiskey. It's a peanut butter whiskey. I don't know. Like, all other forms of alcohol just make me want to gag. But that shit, I don't know. I can go and go and go. Mark Hamill Joker impression. Start off the night right. Oh, I don't know about that. Shatman. I was doing a Winnie the Pooh. I think I'm getting better at it. I'm not, though. I'm actually not. Oh, bother. Oh, Jesus Christ. The stream's about to start and he's still rambling about peanut butter whiskey. Christopher Robin, what kind of drink is your favorite drink? Well, Pooh Bear, I'm not old enough to drink. Oh, what do you mean? how old do you have to be to drink? I'm fucking it up. I can't do fucking Pooh Bear at all. How many stories am I feeding tonight? There are 6 stories tonight. Almost 5 a.m. and can't sleep save you. Yeah, that's the one thing I've found with sleeping is just like I need to listen to somebody talk, otherwise my brain just is in overdrive, you know what I mean? And sometimes what I also do is just kind of like let my brain take me wherever it kind of goes subconsciously and not really fight it. And then slowly and surely you will drift out of unconsciousness. It sounds like a cross between Pennywise and Winnie the Pooh. I know, yeah. The Pennywise. It's hard to lose the Pennywise one. Can I laugh like Tigger? How does Tigger... What is... Wait, I don't even know what he sounds like. Tigger from Winnie the Pooh.
Piglet.
Piglet. Piglet.
Oh. Hello, I'm Tigger.
Hello. I can't do it. Almost sounds like the same voice actor.
Tigger, the wonderful things. Your tops are made of rubber.
The wonderful things. Rocks are made of rubber. I can't do it. I always was curious, like if every human has the capability of like mimicking every other human voice, given enough time. Ilana, is it Ilana? Yeah, Ilana De La Rosa with the 2. Hello, Joe. Hello. The whole De La Rosa crew is in the house. Thank you, thank you. Believes in unicorns with the 5 says, for our birthday, I'm going kayaking with my kiddo. Apparently, we're having a picnic. Then the live stream. Not sure which I'm more excited for. You know, you got to be present in those moments. So, just be absolutely present, both at the picnic and later on. But we'll be here. No rush. Enjoy your family first, always. Ashley Marrero, welcome back for 4 months in the Buttersock cult. Says, what song is this one, man? This one's called I Am Youth, Aries. Also on the Smooth Sounds YouTube channel, 300K mix. That's pretty solid, huh? My voice is better therapy than sleep medication. I always thought it'd be cool if I would have named myself, like, I don't know, some spooky play on the word like Ambien or something like that. What would be like a spooky creepypasta name that's similar to like Ambien or some sleep medication? If my name was Ben, I could be Benny Drill. It's not though. Unlucky. Michelle Bell with the 5s. Hello from Colorado. Hello, Michelle. Welcome back. Good to see you. Thank you, thank you. And SJ Curtis with the 5 says, I started making music for other YouTubers. It'd be an honor if you used one of my songs. I'll come up with something to message you. Okie dokie. Yeah, it sounds awesome. Does Drunk Joel slur his speech? You know, I probably will when I'm talking, but I'm actually pretty good at, like, whenever I go from the past 2 years of doing the drunk stream. Breaking, like, getting back into character of the spooky voice and just making it happen, you know what I mean? Having absolute motor control over my mouth. Rachel with the 5 says, I'll be at work for your birthday stream, but happy early. Oh, thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. And no worries. It'll be up if you guys ever want to check the old live streams out. They are available in a playlist called Live Streams Q&A. And yeah, they're just like unlisted, but on that, yeah, the antihistamine boy. That'll be a great creepypasta name. And David De La Rosa says, Joel, the Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. It's so funny. It makes everyone laugh so much. No, it's actually, I don't know. Sometimes I get like really insecure with my impressions because I kind of know, you know, that they're not packing the punch that I need. But hey, Fuck it, funny voices are funny voices, right? You have motor control of your ass. That's good. It doesn't just dump out farts 24/7. Could have named it Xanax. Tell me you can't make Xanax into a creepypasta. No, for sure. Especially for how addictive it is. But, yeah, probably not. Probably best not to, like, name myself after a copyrighted pharmaceutical item. Any advice for a small YouTuber? Yeah, you know, like, try not to burn yourself out. You know, make quality content. Know the direction that you want to go with the channel. Like, do you want to make video essays? Do you want to be a drama YouTuber? Don't do that, by the way. That just seems like a terrible life. You know, do you want to, you know, what's your upload schedule? How much is it going to demand from you? You know what I mean? And then also, just try to just, like, you know, network with other YouTubers and other people in your sort of circle, and just sort of get ideas from them and collab with them if possible. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to collab, but obviously if you have any more specific questions, defo ask, mate. D-Shore with the $13.01 says, meow, nothing more, just meow. Meow. My tummy hates me. Althea with the big 20 says, happy birthday, Joel, from the bottom of my heart. Love you, my dude. You're awesome. Oh, thank you. We'll be there in 2 days, but I appreciate the early birthday wishes. Thank you so much, Althea. Always appreciate you. Thank you, guys. You hate when your British friends ask you to do a British accent because it suddenly becomes rubbish if I try. Yeah, I think it's one of those things that you just have to be around them long enough to, like, start picking up their tendencies. Hence why people in certain areas, you know, all sound like each other, because it seems to be like a human trait to just, like, I don't know, start talking like one another as they're congregated in one geographical location for a period of time. All right, we're going to switch to our reading screen. Once again, thank you to Smooth Sounds, the YouTube channel, and all the various artists within for the great background jams. Steve Irwin voice. I don't even know if I could do justice to the late Steve Irwin. What a good guy. He wanted to read stories on YouTube, but being a non-native English speaker, I'm kind of worried about the way I pronounce some words. Yeah, there's this website that I use. It's called Forvo, Forvo, that I have to, like, look up how to pronounce words a lot of the times, especially from different regions, but even ones that are, you know, in English. And for the most part, it usually has, like, every word and, like, somebody that's pronounced it, so. Your son was stationed in Oklahoma, and now he has the draws. Oh, does he really? That's funny. Yeah, I remember my brother, like, we live in an area that's not very rural, I guess you could say. And then my brother went to work down near my, like, grandparents, who live in a very rural area. And all of a sudden I noticed that, like, after the, 6 months that he had lived in that area, he picked up a country accent. And I always thought that was really funny. Rest in peace, George Carlin. Heck yeah. I love George Carlin. He was one of those people that could speak the truth on pretty much anything and make you laugh while doing it. I think there's a lot of power in revealing truth while making people laugh. It sort of like disables the darker aspects of society, or the more ridiculous things, you know what I mean? When you take the piss out of it, as they say. You do code switching a lot, so I don't know what my true accent is. Is that like being like an operator or something like that? working the switchboard. Ashley with the 2 says, do you know if Smooth Sounds is on Spotify? Shoot, well, actually, let me check real quick. I'm on their channel. SoundCloud. They got a Twitter. Well, you know, I'm sure all of the particular artists therein. Sorry, real quick. Let me just go back there, scroll to that one. They got merch. They got all the artists listed here. They got a PayPal. They got merch. They got a playlist. It doesn't seem as if though he's on Spotify or theyams. But anyways, thanks again for being here, guys. Appreciate ya. Click the like button if you want. Fucking share this shit wherever. No big deal. And yeah, we got 6 secret admirer stories. Should be pretty litty to hitty. Alex with the 5 says, take a shot every time you read the words needless to say or red flag. I know, that's right. Or like, I think one that I've noticed a lot is I didn't think much of it, or I didn't think anything of it at the time. They always say that. Or I get so fucking annoyed whenever people say like, I noped out of there, because it's like such a Redditor thing to say. Yeah, you better believe I noped out of there. Code switching is when you change your accent and lingo to match your surroundings. I switch between basic English and a Spanglish accent. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, that makes sense. You know, just kind of adapting your communication to where you're at and that kind of thing. But I guess you couldn't really say like there's like anybody really has technically a true accent, you know what I mean? It's not like, I think people get too wrapped up in, well, I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I'm just saying like some people get really wrapped up in their like sort of identities, as if I mean, obviously identity is important, but at the same time, like focusing too heavily on it sort of like hinders your ability to communicate with others sometimes, because you're sort of caught up in, I don't know, other things. Art of Noise, Moments in Love, tune on repeat at the minute. Let's go. I left my heckin' updoot and chonker and noped out. Yeah, I always love that whenever like Reddit's like, check out this heckin' chonker, and it's like, no, that's not a heckin' chonker. You literally are just giving your cat diabetes and heart problems. Alright, story number 1. Let's get it. Also, let me check. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't a lot of background noise. I won't lie. I got caught up in the romance. I won't lie. I got caught up in the romance of it. I'd been single too long and my barriers were down. He said all the right things and the roses didn't hurt his case. I fell in love with the idea of a mysterious and handsome stranger wanting me and only me. Had everything stopped there, I would have been disappointed, but at least I'd be left with the beautiful fantasy. They did not, and I allowed myself to hope that we could be together one day. Until then, I'd write to him about the other plans I had for myself after the restrictions were lifted. He was tolerant of this initially, but soon his letters became more and more demanding. Who I could see or where I could go, and despite my reservations, I agreed to his rules. He was just looking out for my best interests, I guess. And after all, it was just make-believe anyway, right? Our correspondences continued, and when talk of restrictions being lifted came to light, I was contacted by my former boss and asked to return. I happily accepted and wrote to my admirer to share the good news. To my surprise, he was anything but pleased. According to him, I was violating our agreement. I was confused and wondered how he expected me to survive. All the benefits I had been receiving would soon end. I had no other choice but wait tables again. My reasoning, no matter how logical it was, fell on deaf ears. I got only curses and foul names in return, and this was a crossroads. You pick up the habit for changing for each of my customers. No, yeah, for sure. I mean, even for me, whenever I worked in healthcare and stuff, it's like I put on like a customer service voice, I guess you could say. A plane passed over your house and I missed what you said. Can you repeat it, please? I'm just reading a story. I don't know. I'm just like reading this shit, you know what I mean? Can you say escape? I can. Escape. I get so much shit for saying escape in the past. And now I've corrected my words so I can better code switch for all of you. This was a crossroad. Damn, I can't say it. I've got a wisp. 2 nights in a row, huh? Like as far as stream schedule? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Because I always stream on... Well, I was gone on vacation last one, my friend. This was a crossroads in our relationship, and for me, there was only one clear way to go. As the opening of public spaces got closer, I chose to end things. It had been wonderful, but it was time to drop the fantasy. No matter how awful this made me feel, it was the right thing to do. I was not a kept woman, nor would I be if it was possible. No man, regardless of how much I loved him, was going to make that sort of ridiculous demand on me. Agreeing to a few superficial things while we were trapped inside of our homes was one thing, but what he wanted was just ridiculous. I wrote all of this in a letter as nicely. Yeah, show up to work, put your tour guide Barbie voice on. Tour guide. You found that using light regional accents helped in sales, especially over the phone. Oh, interesting. You thought the drinking stream was Saturday? It is Saturday. Oh, but me slurring my words right now, yeah. You screen recorded my YouTube advice. Do you mind if I post it to your YouTube channel? Oh, to your YouTube channel. Yeah, sure, yeah. If it's something... yeah. Yeah. Sure, yeah, no worries. Yeah. And I think you can clip stuff on streams now. I don't know if Mega's here right now, but Mega would clip a lot of, like, stream clips and stuff. I wrote all of this in a letter as nicely as I could and sent it out. It didn't take long to receive his reply. I hadn't expected him to be happy, but what he wrote shocked me to my core. Things had now moved way past petty name-calling and curses. He was threatening me. But not just me, my family also. He included actual information about my parents that terrified me. Their addresses, phone numbers, jobs, everything. If he thought this would change my mind, he was very wrong. All he'd managed to do was make me mad. With all the letters in hand, I filed a report with the police. Yeah, streams noticed I didn't have your streams in my inbox for a while. Thanks for letting me know, Joel. Oh, like the notifications? Saturday? It's fucking Thursday. No, I know. What are you talking about? The drinking birthday stream is on Saturday. Let it be known. 9 p.m. EST. Had I had an actual name, I would have filed a restraining order. Going through this process really drove home to me how ridiculous the entire situation was. Falling in love with an anonymous man was the height of stupidity. For all I know, it wasn't even a man. You never know in a mess like this. What little I could do was done. I notified my friend of my actions in a letter, but have yet to get a reply. It's been more than 2 months, and I hope this means that he's moved on. I chose not to let my parents in on the threats. I didn't want to scare them if there was no immediate danger, but probably embarrassment was a stronger motivation. My mom would never let me live it down, that's for sure. And unless there is a change in the coming weeks or months, it looks as if though he's been scared off. I don't think I'll post any future updates, no matter what happens. I'd rather just put it all behind me and try to reclaim the normal life I've been deprived of the last 2 years. Despite wanting to use my mistakes as a warning to other girls, if I thought anyone could identify me, I wouldn't have written this. But I have. So if any girl reading this finds herself in a situation similar to mine, throw the letter away and forget about it. This is real life, not a movie. No handsome prince is going to kiss you at the end of the story. In real life, you always end up with the frog. Who up kissing a frog? Summer Markela with the 10 says, I just got out of my first training shift for my new job. I'm just in time for the stream. Well, welcome. Hope the new job is treating you well. Also, someone did suggest to me this throat coat stuff, and let me just say that I don't necessarily recall if the last 2 streams that I've used the throat coat tea, if I've really had much of like a cracky or, sore throat or anything like that, so that's kind of sweet. I don't really, this story was cool, but like I'm kind of confused, like whoever sent it in, like what the context was. Like, did we miss a context, like on how this person got a secret admirer over COVID lockdown? Maybe, like at first I was like, is this like an OnlyFans thing? Like, what is this? My son really likes your channel. Would you be able to go send a message to my account? His 13th birthday is Saturday. I mean, I can't send a message to your account, but I can say happy early birthday to you, Do men have secret admirers? I mean, probably, but I think it would probably be more in like the sort of like celebrity type culture where the man is within like the limelight or like has a position of status that is like admirable or something like that, you know what I mean? I probably have a secret admirer. I mean, you can't prove that I don't, because it's a secret. That's true. True. I'm sure we all got somebody out there secretly admiring from a distance, even if it is only for a little bit. How do you become a member? Yeah, there should be a join button. I don't know if it shows up on mobile. I think it's on mobile. Lindsay and I had been best friends as far back as I can remember. All through primary school, we'd always be in the same classes. She was family to me. Unfortunately, things began to change about the time high school started. I began to see her differently. I don't know why, but I suddenly became convinced that I loved her. And I don't mean the way that I always had. This was special. It's a very confusing time for boys regardless, but my newfound love for her left me disoriented and scared. It was new and uncharted territory. Without advice from an experienced older male, I had zero idea how to proceed, or if I should at all. The answer came to me one evening while watching an old movie with my parents. The lead character was in a position similar to mine. He talked about something called a secret admirer. This is when a person sends letters or notes to someone that they're interested in, but does so anonymously. This sounded perfect to me. I could tell Lindsay how I felt without her knowing it was me. Then I could hear how she really felt without the possibility of our friendship messing things up. Hopefully, she'd fall in love with her admirer, and I could reveal myself. I sat down at my desk that night and poured out my heart to her, or at least her secret admirer did. To be safe, I snuck out early the next morning and rode my bike to the post office. I kissed the envelope for luck, said a short prayer, and dropped it into the box. It was all up to God now. The wait was agonizing. On day 4, Lindsay mentioned a surprise that she... Whoops. You just watched The Spelling Bee? What is that? Was that on ESPN? On day 4, Lindsay mentioned a surprise she got in the post. Okay. On day 4, Lindsay mentioned a surprise that she'd gotten in the post. I played it cool, but my heart was pounding like a jackhammer. The way she talked about the letter was somewhat unclear. She would smile while recalling some things while also calling it juvenile and foolish. It was not good looking, but I was far from discouraged. I couldn't have walked away if I wanted to. Lindsay became my world, and I couldn't see any future without us together, and I continued with the plan. With each new letter, I could see her warming up to her secret crush, as she put it. Looking back, she wasn't the only one to change. I began to love the power I had over her. Hearing her speak about her admirer and knowing she had no clue it was me, it was an intoxicating feeling. I'm a bit disgusted about how I viewed things then, but it's part of the story, so I do have to include it. Before I knew it, a year had passed and we begun to drift apart. I kept up with the letters but gradually saw her less and less. Her popularity had increased and her friend group changed. I was the opposite of popular. She didn't ignore me in front of her new friends, but I got the impression that I'd slipped way down on her list of importance. I understood why everyone loved her. Maybe not like I did, but it made sense. As long as I had her to myself once in a while, I was happy. And then I heard news that she was seeing someone, and it felt like a knife in my gut. I wanted to be cool about it, but just under the surface, I was livid. I feared the little time we still had together would evaporate, and I proved to be right. Every time I called her to hang out, she'd be busy with him. I maintained a cool facade, but it was just that. I often cried myself to sleep. The truth was finally beginning to hit me. Her and I had no real hope of ever being in a real relationship. I'd friend-zoned myself without even realizing it. Even then, I didn't stop the letters completely. On the rare occasion I felt optimistic, I'd sit down and pour out my feelings on paper. More than once, I had to tear up the letter because I mentioned something that would give me away. I couldn't stop my anger from showing through. I was never mean to her, but I considered her boyfriend fair game, and this would be the mistake that unmasked me. I regret it to this day. In my last letter, I must have said something too revealing. I wouldn't beware. How do I know I have a secret admirer? True, I guess you wouldn't know. But I do got stalkers, so that's fair enough, right? Same shit. Seeing someone that bit, yeah. How absolutely dare she? Isn't she in love with my letters? Isn't she in love with the words on paper? Do I have any pets? I do. I got a cat. Oh, there he is. I look behind me. He's looking at me right now. Too busy squawking to be stalking. Hawk is just stalking his prey, that's all. Watching them for miles up in the sky. I wouldn't be aware of this until I ran into Lindsay's boyfriend. He was busy at the moment, but wanted to speak to me privately. We made arrangements to do so a few hours later. We met at a park near my house. He was already there when I arrived. I assume he wanted to ask my opinion about a gift for Lindsay's upcoming birthday. I offered my hand as a greeting as I approached, and rather than shake it, he punched me solidly across the chin. I crumpled up like a piece of paper. Then he kicked me. Jesus. That went to 0 to 100 real fast. And then he kicked me square in the nuts. I'm not sure how long I was unconscious, but when I did regain a semblance of clarity, I felt a cold object on my neck. It was a knife, a sharp one. All he had to do was apply the least amount of pressure and I'd be dead before I could count to 60. I realized I'd messed up bad. He proceeded to tell me that he knew that I was Lindsay's secret admirer and that he would kill me if I ever spoke to her again. As terrified as I was, terrified. Do I have another channel? I do not, no. Well, I have the ASMR channel, but it only has like 4 videos. Let's read ASMR. As terrified. Why do I keep saying that? Have you ever kissed a fish? Never had the opportunity. Hopefully one day. As terrified as I was in that moment, my pride wanted me to say no. This would be the end. Dude, I can't. I pet Pradeep like one time and all of his fucking fur like flew up into my face. As terrified as I was in that moment, my pride wanted me to say no. This would mean the end of all my dreams. Unfortunately, I didn't listen. I reluctantly agreed and he put the knife away. I was like, fortunately, I didn't listen. Okay. This would mean the end of all my dreams. Fortunately, I didn't listen. I reluctantly agreed and he put the knife away, giving me one more good kick in the side as he walked away. As anticlimactic as it sounds, that was the end. I'd had the fear beaten into me and I didn't want another helping. The guy was a well-known psycho around town, and from that day on, everything was over. I'm not sure if Lindsay actually knew what had occurred, but she treated me as a stranger for our remaining time in school. I wouldn't hold it against her either way. I crossed the line and deserved what I got. Seeing her only made things more painful, so I did my best to avoid any place that I thought she may be. Even after her and that particular boyfriend broke up, I kept my distance. The damage had been done. It's been 12 years since high school ended, yet I still think about her often. My recent divorce has put her in the forefront of my mind lately. Even if that door is closed forever, I hope whoever she's chosen to spend her life with, that she is loved as much as I loved her then. I want that more than anything, even if it isn't with me. Yikers. You kissed a carp. It's the done thing when catching one to release. What? Hannah says, should I just sleep? Maybe. Are you tired, Hannah? Are you feeling sleepy? Yeah, that ending does sound like he's like getting ready to stalk again. Lord, I'm hungry. Alright, that was story numero 2. Do I ever read stories that mess with my head for a few days? Sometimes the true crime ones kind of get to me. Especially ones where it's like kids get hurt or something like that. You just feel really bad about it and then also just like, I don't know, realizing that one day someone can just go insane and you can be the target of their psychoness. Their psychoticism. You kissed a frog once when I was a kid, but it didn't turn into a princess. What did it turn into? Just warts. Wait, Joel, I'm confused. How did that story go from that guy sending letters and quietly looking at a girl to getting a Brooklyn Mafia beatdown? I don't know. He said that he said something about his he made fun of the boyfriend in the letters, or said mean things in the letters that he sent about the boyfriend, and I guess that's what gave him away or something like that. Maybe he spoke that way to him or something in passing, or spoke about him in passing to other people, and the guy just put it 2 and 2 together, or so, I don't know. No licking frogs in the chat. Only the hallucinogenic ones. Do you believe in aliens or ghosts? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I like to think that they're real. Just because it's fun. But I often sometimes think that, like, humans sometimes might contrive certain ideas within their mind just to, like, help them cope with the idea of oblivion or the vast expanse of space. But at the same time, it seems almost like statistically probable that there's some sort of spiritual realm, and also equally statistically possible that there's life outside of our planet. You could be a hypnotist or maybe a ride operator. Alright, keep all your hands inside the room at all times, and well, the roller coaster don't take a shit or a piss in it, even if it's really scary. Alright, here we go. And then I launch the ride before everybody's like pulled down their safety thing. You have a theory that aliens and demons are one and the same? Yeah, I've heard that too, especially within like years ago, watching a lot of like a lot of like conspiracy videos that also have like sort of Christian overtones and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like they always sort of conflate the two as one, which wouldn't be an abnormal theory as well, you know what I mean? Like who fucking knows? Or maybe we think, you know, in a similar fashion, maybe we also think that what we think are angels are actually just super hyper advanced beings, you know what I mean, either from another galaxy or maybe even just from another interdimensional thing. There's so many possibilities, it's hard to say. Joe, you said that you believe when someone dies they hang around for a couple of days. You know, maybe. I remember when my buddy's mom died, there was something weird. Like it just felt as if though she was still there, you know what I mean? Like saying goodbye. And because a few people within her circle of friends and family said that they had strange experiences and stuff. And you know, I wouldn't put it past also the concept, at least within like, you know how like negative energy can attract negative spiritual forces, I guess you could say, that like the grieving that may or may not have been felt from her family may have also potentially attracted, I don't know, darker things to come feed off of their sadness or whatever, you know what I mean? But who knows? I don't know. Do I like Wendigoon? Yeah, Wendigoon's cool. I don't really watch a lot of people's content on YouTube, but I usually kind of like am loosely aware. Hey, Carrie, what's going on? Am I referring to Steve Quayle or Justin Fowl by any chance? I've heard of Steve Quayle. Oh man, it's been so long. Like, I kind of got away from that realm of like stuff because, you know, even though, like, just because I realized that a lot of the times, like when people kind of like chase after these ideas, you know, of whether it be politics or whether it be like, you know, their spiritual beliefs, like they're all kind of like, they kind of cross over with one another. And it's cool, you know, devoting your life to interesting ideas and that kind of thing and really like learning about it or whatever. But I realized that for the most part, like whenever I would watch like conspiracy videos and shit, that I was just really just watching it for entertainment. Like I just like to, I don't know, like it was like safer for my mind to think that like all of it had like some grandiose plan or something like that, you know what I mean? But I almost feel as if though reality has a lot more variables to it than we realize, and that there's a lot of different individuals involved in generating your experience. I don't know. Who fucking knows, dude? At the end of the day, I realized that it didn't help me make, you know, watching that kind of shit was the same as watching Netflix. It didn't help me make any, you know, money. It didn't help me better myself at all. Maybe a little bit with certain like proverbs or philosophies that may have been dripped here and there, but IDK. Do you think the Wendigo is real? I'm not even really sure what the Wendigo is, to be honest. Like, isn't it some just mainly like a Native American spirit that like melds with a man who is then now able to like shapeshift, but is also cannibalistic, but also sort of looks like a big werewolf with like a deer skull head. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so many different like descriptors that I don't think I've ever gotten the full story with that. Fairy Vixen, what's going on? Welcome, welcome. And Carla E, hello. Hey, listen. Do you watch any non-horror channels? Like I said, I really don't watch a lot of content on YouTube. I don't really watch anything at all. I know that sounds weird. I just, like, this is my entertainment right here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, creating stuff and interacting with people, like, that just sounds so much more exciting to me than... but if I do watch stuff, I have to watch it with people. You know what I mean? Like, I have to, like, have people to, like, feed off of, you know what I mean? And their energy and my energy going back and forth. That's why I had so much fun visiting friends, because we obviously did like fun vacation shit, but we watched a lot of Smallville, and Smallville is such a funny show, dude. If you guys haven't seen Smallville, it's so stupid. Like, it's basically just like young Superman, but like, it was, I don't know, just imagine like fan fiction written by like a 14-year-old middle schooler, and that's pretty much Smallville. There's just like so many random oversights, like within the writing. They're like, so you're telling me the principal was set on fire, the head coach of the football team, who's been there for 35 years, burnt into a pile of ash and also had some superpowers, and they're, and we're just gonna like move on to the next thing the next week without like any sort of follow-up at all. I don't know. It's just funny to me. The power just came back. We had a power outage. Thanks, Joel, for the company. I listened to the camping stories while waiting for the power to come back on. Hi, hello, Amanda. Sorry about the power lose. That's always a scary thing. You love feeding on people. I love feasting upon their emotions. Oh yeah, that was like the, I mean, obviously it's a very sad thing, but I couldn't find any good documentaries that talked about the NXIVM cult. But that was the weirdest thing watching the show too, is just like like every time, what's her name, like Allison Mack would come on screen, and also like Superman's like secret crush or whatever, what's her name, Laura Lang or something. Every time they would come on screen, my friend would just scream like, sex cult, sex cult, sex cult. Because I don't know the details specifically, but I guess like later on, she was tricked into being essentially like the procurer of people to join like a, what do they call it? Like a multi-level marketing scheme, but it was also like a sex cult at the same time. I don't know. Oh my god. I literally just heard Pradeep fart. That's funny as hell. Because I heard him scratching around in his box in the laundry room, and then all of a sudden I heard like a loud fart, and I'm like, what the fuck was that? I never like physically heard him fart before, but that's hilarious. She wasn't tricked, she was complicit. No, for sure. Once again, I know that's like a pretty, like, obviously it's a very serious thing. I don't have all the details, but like, it's so weird when you watch like the video of like the guy who's in charge interacting with her. She's just like so enamored, you know what I mean? You're like, and you look at him and he's just like, he's a weirdo. He's fucking weird as shit, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I guess you get enough like LSD and people and you can get them to do anything. I don't even fucking know. I don't have the specifics, but if you find like a good documentary or something about that, I honestly was very interested just to hear about it. because it was just like, how? Like, how do we start that? No, I'm just kidding. Literally just kidding. Rachel Stevens with the 10 says, hi, Joel. Hope the vacation was great. I'm super stoked. Tuesday, I started eating better, and today is day 1 of exercise and getting back in shape after being on 7 months postpartum. Bring on the push-ups. Hell yes, let's go. But I'm glad you're doing good. Thank you for the 10, Rachel. The Pradeep toot. Oh, Timothy, what's up, man? How are you? All right, story numero 30. I'm probably older than most people here. My story takes place way back in the 1990s. Most people hadn't even heard of the internet yet. Besides the telephone, handwritten letters were still the most common way for people to communicate. If you've had something to say and time wasn't important, you'd scrawl your thoughts out on a piece of paper and mail it off. For hundreds of years, humans would commit their most heartfelt feelings to paper and send them around the world. Receiving a letter from a loved one while separated could be a welcomed remedy for a homesick heart. This was especially true during times of war. A letter from a sweetheart or parent could lift a soldier's morale. So important. How many stories we got? 6 stories tonight. This is story 3. I'm thinking if it didn't go very long at the end, we'll probably read another one, because 6, usually it's like 7 or... What's the internet? Never heard of it. Receiving letters from... This was especially true during times of war. A letter from a sweetheart or parent could lift a soldier's morale. This was especially true during times of war. A letter from a sweetheart or parent could lift a soldier's morale. So important, many were read or... Sorry, just like that, the sentence says, so important, comma, many were read over and over. And sorry, just like confused me. Believes in Unicorns with Who says The Vow on HBO Max. Oh, that's right. Yeah, they did a... Okay, well, I'll probably watch that then. I'm honestly curious. Hannah, you're going to be 24 in 2 weeks. Nice. Happy... What is that? June 16th? Is that your B-Day? Mega Pint Molly. Oh, Molly, welcome back for 30 whole months in the butter sock cult. Joel, my love, I'm here. I'm still live. How are you tonight? I'm doing pretty good. Just chilling with you in Elder Scrolls. Love you. Thank you. I was thinking about Elder Scrolls earlier. And I was just thinking like how much I love those types of games. And I was curious if there was any other ones. Somebody was saying you should get Elden Ring. And I was like, nah, man, it's not the same thing. Like there is a degree of mystery, you know, in Elden Ring, but I don't know, like the level of immersion that I felt with like the old Elder Scrolls games is just not quite the same. Like there was a sense of peace, whereas like Elden Ring constantly makes you feel a sense of like dread. So important, many were read over and over, often being read out loud to fellow soldiers in quiet times between engagements. It had its pros and cons, but I look back on it fondly. I make sure to keep any letter I receive now. The sender must have had something special to say by going to such trouble when faster options are plentiful. At 16, I was sent to the first of many anonymous. I was sent the first. Sorry, I was still thinking of like war and stuff, so I was like sent to. At 16, I was sent the first of many anonymous letters, a pattern that would continue for almost a year. Other than the gender of the sender, I knew nothing of their identity. Their purpose was much clearer, though. They wanted to know how much they loved. God, I don't know why. It's like the sentence structure just confuses my brain. Their purpose was much clearer, though. They wanted to know how much they loved. They wanted me to know. They wanted me to know how much they loved me, and it appeared that I had a secret admirer. Although I'm sure a lot of people would see that as a stalker behavior. God damn, I can't make it fucking one sentence. Jesus Christ. Although I'm sure a lot of people would see that as stalker behavior today, I didn't. I was the focus of a girl's affections, and I loved it. Up until this point, I had zero luck with... Up until this point, I had zero luck with any girls. Not only was I an awkward introvert and overweight, my severe acne made a... Not only was I an awkward introvert and overweight, my severe acne made me a bit of a pariah, as I once put it. With the arrival of the first letter, I felt something that I hadn't felt in a very long time. Normal. Most guys in my position probably have tried to discover their admirer's name, and I preferred not to know. I only found out later by accident. The potential was the most exciting thing about it. It could have been anyone and everyone. I let my mind take over, and in this fantasy, the sender changed depending on my crush at that moment. Almost everyone I knew was a possibility at some point. Everyone except for who it actually turned out to be. If I remember right, the truth came out just after my 17th birthday. My main focus now was on where I was going to attend college. I would be the first member of our family to go, and my parents were naturally excited about this. I guess in all the fuss, my younger sister felt ignored. I'm sure that there were other contributing factors, but they have been lost to time. What? Oh, the contributing factors. I was like, who's lost to time? The sister? I'm sure there were other contributing factors, but they have been lost to time. Regardless, an argument ensued in which she let the name of my secret admirer slip. I've been bragging about my forthcoming scholarly prospects, and she'd had enough. Her words are the only thing from that time that I know I'll never forget. You think you're so smart, but you haven't even figured out that Carla is the one who's been writing all those stupid letters. The revelation made me sick. Carla was my sister's best friend. I'd known her my entire life, and she was only 14. I wanted it to be a lie, but I knew that it wasn't. I never told anyone about the letters, and certainly never would have told Nicole, my sister. She had to have had inside information. And here's the part in the story where your writer made a big mistake. Once I'd regret for one night. Do you find memes comical, or do those have the same sort of, I don't know, effect, I'll say, as YouTube videos for... No, memes are... I love memes. I can stare at memes all fucking day. I like comedy. I mean, I like comedy videos, like... But, like, I guess I've never really been, like, wrapped up in, like... You know what I mean? Like, the personality YouTubers and stuff like that. Like, the ones that you want to, like... find out if their hemorrhoid is okay, or you know what I mean, like some, you know how like some people have been like watching Markiplier since they were like 2, you know, and now they're 82, and they love to keep up with everything he's doing and all of his beautiful locks and his deep voice, you know what I mean. Like I just never really felt that way towards any sort of content creators, I suppose. Here's the part in the story where your writer made a big mistake. one I'd regret for a long time to come. I was furious once I'd learned my admirer's identity. And I called Carla to give her a piece of my mind. In retrospect, I was far harsher than I needed to be, but I felt so betrayed, not to mention stupid. When I hung up, she was bawling her eyes out. I didn't care. In my mind, she deserved every word. After that, I tried to start over. So much of my life had been wrapped up in the fantasy, and college was all I had left, and I focused all my energy into it. Had my sister and I had been speaking at the time, I may have seen what was coming. One night before bed, I let my dog, Lucky, out to do his thing. I was in the kitchen making peanut butter and jelly when I heard a crack, followed by a yelp. Lucky ran inside. He was limping and blood was running down his back leg. I freaked out and yelled for my parents. They ran in and I showed them Lucky's injury. We were fortunate to have an emergency vet nearby. We called him and he told us to bring him in. When he told us that Lucky had been shot, likely with a .22, we were mortified. No one had any idea who would do such a thing, but it wouldn't be long before I found out. I was playing a Nintendo game when the phone rang. My mom yelled for me to answer it, which I did. An unfamiliar voice asked me by name, and I identified myself. The anonymous caller then asked how Lucky was doing. I said that he was doing well before I realized that no one outside of our family but the vet should have known about the shooting. I sheepishly inquired if I was speaking to the vet or someone who worked for him, but the caller said no. Then it hit me. This had to have been the shooter, and I was mad now. I started yelling and asked why he would do such a mean thing. The caller turned out to be Carla's. Josh Tadlock with us says, does your podcast have different stories than YouTube? No, yeah, so the podcast is stories from YouTube, but they're from 6 months ago, probably, half a year ago. They're just remastered to sound better and with different sounds and music and all that kind of stuff. Do you have any suggestion for horror games you should play? I have Friday the 13th. I don't know. Soma is always the one I think is pretty cool if you like walking simulator stories types. It's pretty spooky. Or The Forest. The Forest is a very scary game. Just starting to cool off now that we have power. My battery was dying and I was on data listening to the camping stories. Joel posted the other day. Oh, you're talking to somebody else. Sorry. I read people's messages and they're having a full conversation with somebody else. Do I ever go back and listen to my own videos? I might listen for a little bit. Just to get a vibe on how it's been sounding, I guess. The caller turned out to be Carla's brother, Clint. I never met the guy, but he certainly knew me. He claimed that his sister had been a basket case since my call. She wouldn't eat or leave her room and often cried herself to sleep. His demand was a simple one. If I didn't want my dog to die the next time, I would apologize to Carla in person. I didn't need any time to think. I didn't want Lucky to suffer any more than he already had. I was still livid with the guy, but I agreed and hung up. Although I briefly considered telling my parents, I decided to deal with it myself since I'd been the cause of all the trouble in the first place. Later that day, I walked over to Carla and Clint's house and apologized. Clint insisted on being present for it. I groveled and begged her to accept the apology, and she did. Once he was satisfied, Clint left us alone to continue our discussion. Her and I spoke for another half hour. We discussed the letters among other things. She hadn't actually ever expected us to get together. She just wanted to share her feelings without there being any weird stuff between us. I apologized again and promised her that we could be friends. We hugged and I went on my way. The following day, another call came from Clint. Just the sound of his voice made me sick to my stomach. And it wasn't bad news, though. He just wanted to thank me for the apology. Damn, I guess my voice is cracking. Maybe it was cracking last time. and I didn't realize. I thought the fucking tea would cure me. Do I watch horror movies in my spare time? I do like movies. I am a human, and I am not a lizard person, I promise. But yeah, like I said, I don't really... Oh, you know what I do a lot, I guess, is I just listen to, like... I'm not even sure what you call it. I just listen to, like, lectures. Sorry. I listen to lectures. I listen to, like Stoic philosophy stuff. Just kind of like stuff that I can have on in the background as I go for, like, walks or something, or exercise or whatever, and I can just sort of, like, or, like, books and stuff. And just sort of, like, passively absorb new ideas. Let's Read, have you done any collabs with other readers? If so, who was it and how do you like collabs? Hope you can answer this question. Thanks, and at work listening every day. Yeah, I mean, it's Morbin time. Yeah. I'm basically just always Morbin. Nonstop. Yeah, I mean, I collab with a lot of people. I'm trying to think. I mean, I did a sort of semi-collab on Shouting Out, that Scary Interesting channel. Hopefully you guys check that out. It was funny. His voice kind of reminded me, or at least his presentation style reminded me a lot of Mr. Balin. So, I don't know if you guys like Mr. Balin. You probably would like his channel as well. But he's not, like, on camera the way Mr. Balin is. Collaborate with Mr. Nightmare. I'd like to collaborate with Mr. Nightmare. I think that would be a huge boost in, like, new subscribers and stuff, but maybe I'll hit him up again. I don't know. It's whatever, honestly. It's not, like, a big deal. Out of the major Stoics, whose perspective do you find most impactful? Yeah, I like Marcus Aurelius. I just think I mean, maybe, I can't say that I'm, like, super educated on, like, all of their names. I hear them all the time in, like, the different lectures that, like, reference them or whatever. But for some reason, yeah, Marcus Aurelius. I, like, watched this one video where it was, like, meditations, which was, like, Marcus Aurelius's, like, journal, like, compiled, you know, on all the important parts. But, like, I think this video was brought down to, like, 23 minutes, and I would just, like, listen to that one, like, over and over and over again. There was something about it that just, like, really stuck with me. Is closed caption feature new here? I'm not sure, honestly. Maybe it's for live streams. It's a new thing. Collab with Mr. Boogeyman. Yeah, you know. I want to just say that, like, if, you know, if I don't collab with someone, it certainly isn't, like... If I don't collab with someone, it's certainly not, like, to be taken offense by. It's just... sometimes timing is off, or there's just something in particular. But yeah, tag me on Twitter or something with one of your videos. I'd love to take a listen. Mr. Ballin. Do I like Uncrustables? You know, I never had Uncrustables. I know some people are obsessed with them, but I think as far as kid snacks go, they were, like, after my time, you know. I had, like, pretty much every fucking, you know, diabetes-causing snack under the sun, but Uncrustables, I think, was, like, was just, like, not part of my normal routine of consumed goods. Investing in tech. Yeah, it's the tough part of the initial investment. Peanut butter jelly time. He just wanted to thank me for the apology. Carla was back to her old self and started eating again. I was still a bit nervous and double-checked to make sure that things were okay. He promised it was. We'd speak a few more times after that, and he turned out to be an okay guy. Don't get me wrong, I still think the guy's a psycho, but I can almost understand why he did it. Even a crude Even a crude a-hole like myself would do just about anything for my family. Life went into high speed after that. Before I knew it, I was starting college and the events of my prior year were all but forgotten. Lucky would make a full recovery and go on to live another 6 years, even playing a small but important part in my wedding. If you're wondering what happened to Carla, I'm sorry to say that I don't know. Her and my sister lost contact when they went off to school and haven't spoken since then, at least to my knowledge. Whatever she's doing now, I hope she found a guy her age and they're doing well. And for the sake of the guy's health. And for the sake of the guy's health, I hope he doesn't ever upset Carla the way I did. He'll certainly regret it, it seems, as I speak from first-hand experience. Yeah, I don't know. I would not let a guy get away with shooting my dog in the fucking, even if it was out of some familial thing. I wouldn't be able to. I mean, I guess conceptually understand why someone would be driven to going and mad or whatever, but to protect their sister or something, but like, I don't know, dude, I wouldn't let him get away with that. That's some fucked up shit. What microphone do you use and how much does it cost? Yeah, so the one that I record into is the H4n Pro, and the one that I am streaming into right now is the AKG C214. You can probably just have to look those costs up. Dino Nuggies is where it's at. Hell yeah. You love my cameo in Morbius 2 Multiverse of Morb. It's fucking Morbin time, baby. Has anyone actually seen Morbius? Like, it's so funny to me that like the memeology of the movie isn't like the Fast and the Furious thing where it's like it's family, you know what I mean? Like, it's just saying the words and kind of semi making fun of how ridiculous the concept is, I guess. I don't really know. I gotta pop my bones. You've only seen the memes of Morbius. Yeah, me too. I don't know. I assume, like, I think it's like he goes to some South African place. He gets bit by radioactive bats or some shit, and he becomes Dracula. That's all I really know. And then Jared Leto starts like a sex cult or some weird shit on an island. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Jared Leto was part of Nexium. Oh, what's up, Mega? And Linz, what's going on? I'm gonna ponder some morbs. Holy shit, have you seen that meme yet? Alex with the 5 says, have you ever read the love letters James Joyce wrote to his wife? He really liked talking about her farts. No, I don't think I have. I'll have to do some investigating. Some investigative journalist to really get down and dirty into it. You like go to the Vatican. We have the letters. From James Joyce. He was obsessed with his wife's stinky butthole. What's up, Sydney? Yeah. Jared Leto has a real cult IRL. Dude, didn't I call that? Did I not call that? I was like totally unaware of his history and his cult proclivities, but like then I don't know, I saw something. It was actually really weird. I don't even know. It's fucking weird as shit, man. I just remember like seeing him like, okay, 52 years old, looks like he bathes in blood to stay young. This guy's actually Dracula. There's no possible way that he doesn't have a sex cult. And lo and behold, you just kind of get a vibe for things, you know what I mean? I need a better mic. Do you rate the Blue Yeti? I've heard mixed things about it. You know, I never used the Blue Yeti, but it is, you know, apparently a good starter thing. You laughed at the stinky butthole thing. Perfect, perfect. We are the funniest guy ever. He actually morbed. He's actually Morb. It was a documentary. Yeah, probably. You don't bathe in it, you drink it. Oh, okay. All right, I'm sorry. I'm not used to the whole human sacrificing thing. Have you ever done a video on cult stories? I believe I actually have like 3 videos on cult stories that you can search back through the channel. There's a little, if you scroll all the way to the right on like the home page, I think there's a little magnifying glass that you can click on and search through like specific channel videos. Jared Leto is 50? Yeah, let me look at it. Jared Leto, age. Jared Leto, 250? No, yeah, he's actually 50. Exactly 50 on the dot, born December 26, 1971. I know, right? Like, I'm sure, like, if you got a real up close and personal to him when he's, like, right about to suck your blood, you can probably see a little bit of crow's feet. Which, wouldn't that be funny? Like, as he's about to, like, murder you, he gets, like, insecure and stops because he sees your eyes, like, dart to the corner of his eyes, and you're like, what were you looking at? What do you mean? Do you think I'm old? Ugh. You think I'm old, don't you? And then, like, that's his weakness. He, like, melts into fucking bones or some shit. That'd be funny. Now you can inject into your veins young blood. Wait, what? No way, really? See, that's what we need to... The next charity stream will be that. Me getting blood exchange. Jim Jones actually used Flavor Aid instead of Kool-Aid. Oh my god, we've been lied to for fucking years. Yeah, I didn't know he had a cult either. I mean, I always thought he was like the most impressive actor ever, like in the non-aging thing. I mean, well, especially since he had the 30 Seconds to Mars band too. I was like, wait, he's been like a super successful, you know, method actor with a ton of like things under his belt. He's like one of those, you know, actors that like you sometimes have to look twice to recognize that it's him, which I always thought was impressive about certain actors. And then you're also telling me that he had like a really popular, like, you know, alternative rock band in the 2000s, like. And you're telling me that he also served in World War II? And look here, sir, look. And you're telling me that he invented the lamb skin condom back in the year 1606. He's been around a long time. We have a signed guitar from 30 Seconds to Mars. We wanted at a concert. Oh, that's sick. I guess. I don't know. Jay Leno? What are you talking about? Just after April of last year, I began getting messages from a phone number I did not recognize. This was especially unnerving as I had only been in the area a brief time. Because of some problems I'll get into later, I had essentially been forced to flee from my hometown in the middle of the night. My number was a new one, and I could count those that I'd given it to on one hand. I thought I'd been careful. I deleted the first few without reading them, but soon thought the better of this. What I found left me very ambivalent. It appeared that I had picked up an anonymous crush somewhere along the way. I was flattered by the attention, but not knowing their identity was also scary. I was terrified that I'd been located and began planning another move. As I was just days away from leaving, a new message arrived that made me rethink my decision. It read, "Please don't be afraid. I mean you no harm. It is the exact opposite of that, in fact. You brighten every room in which you enter, and my world is all the better by you being in it. I don't know you well, but I sense you may have had a traumatic past. Please allow me to help you heal those old wounds. I may not yet have the courage to face you, but I dream of a time soon when I may come to you, and we can truly get to know one another and hopefully build a future together. For the sake of love, please give me a chance." After reading that, I was at a loss. I'd never had another human being express their feelings in quite such an honest way. The situation was odd, but a large part of me having been craving this type of attention my whole... Whoopsies. Yeah, Jared Leto used to be in silent films. I mean you no harm. Yeah, right, yeah, I mean you no harm. That's definitely something a psycho would say. I mean you no harm. I just need you to come to my castle. Listening to this before I might break up with this guy I've been talking to. Are you going to do it over text or are you going to do it in person? That's the real demonstration of character. No, I'm just kidding. It's none of my business. It's none of my business, but I will give a bunch of opinions on something I have no idea about. But hey, I'm just a typical Twitter user, you know? The situation was odd, but a large part of me had been craving this type of attention my whole life. If you've never had a normal, healthy relationship like me, you'll understand how beautiful his words sounded. This was the first time in months that I'd allowed myself to relax and stop looking over my shoulder. It was uncharted territory for me, but I didn't think that I had anything to lose at that point. For the present, I'd stay where I was. My admirer and I traded occasional messages for about 2 or 3 months, and everything was going well. He grew more and more courageous until the day came that he suggested that we meet. Many questions had yet to be answered, and he promised that this would be the time. I knew the day would come and even looked forward to it sometimes, but that deep-seated fear of being discovered kept me reluctant. I had one female coworker I trusted, and we discussed it. Her opinion was that I couldn't hide myself away forever. If I thought this man was worth risking finding happiness, I should go for it. It sounded like a solid stance to me, so I let him know that I was ready. We came to an agreement, and I began preparing myself for the meet later in the week. A strange thing happened on the date that was scheduled. When we met, he was shrouded in a black coat. He turned around and he said, "Do you know what time it is?" I responded, "What?" And he said, "It's Morbin time." And it was Jared Leto. He was my secret admirer the whole fucking time. Holy shit, dude, this all came full circle real quick. Why on earth do I know so much about female vampires? I guess bathing in blood is my thing. Is that like a normal thing? Is that like a thing that women do that I'm not aware of? The whole bathing in blood thing. Is that kind of like exfoliation? You know, like people always tell me I should be doing that, but I don't. It's a new 10 beauty techniques. This one beauty technique makes all of the plastic surgeons mad. I forget whatever that stupid ad says on the side. Do you play any instruments, have any hobbies? I just like to lift. I have a bunch of instruments, but I never like fully learned how to play them. I almost just enjoyed the concept of like having instruments more than actually like putting in the time to learn. But I do wish that I would have. I've always wondered, do you review stories by putting them on the channel? If they aren't written well, do you take change to make it better? Yeah, you know, if it I don't really review them. I have somebody help me like compile them from my email, but if you know, it needs a grammatical change or whatever, I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, surgeons hate this one simple trick of bathing in blood. Happy Friday. Hell yeah, happy Friday to you. Do you train legs? Oh, of course, you gotta train legs. I'm kind of a T-Rex in that regard, where my legs are like within the position of like squat strength. I, would show up on the chart as like advanced for that, you know what I mean? Not necessarily professional, but like advanced as far as like squat strength goes. But then when it comes to like upper body and gymnastics type stuff, I'm like pretty okay at like shoulder press and bench and stuff, but definitely not the same as like squat. And then I'm just like really, really fucking bad at just like pull-ups and gymnastic bullshit. Oh, haters, you donated? Did I miss it? Oh, there it is. Sorry. With the two says, what did she mean prepare for the meat later? Who said that? I don't know what you're talking about. That's what it said. I mean you no harm. That's what it said in the letter. I mean you no harm, but you better prepare for this meat. And it was really strange because, he knew that I was a vegan, but I didn't know what he meant. Am I a bearded man? I could be. I am whatever you want me to be in your mind. Do you have a Twitch account or any platforms other than YouTube? Just podcasts. Yeah, no, I haven't streamed on Twitch, even though I've been told that I should. Secret Stalker, aka Secret Admirer. I admired you so much that I keep you in my basement so I can always watch. Okay. Oh my god. Haters with the two says was in the story. Lamau, just reread it back. Really? They talked about meat? What the fuck? When the hell did they talk about meat? First time. Wait. Also, I lost track of where I am in the story. I'm sorry. My admirer and I traded occasional messages for 2 or 3 months. A strange thing happened on the day that. Oh, I see. That's where I was. We came to an occasional agreement. Or an agreement. Oh, yeah. I began preparing myself for his meat. No. We came to an agreement and I began preparing myself for the meat later in the week. Hell yeah, you're right. What the fuck? Why are they talking like Shakespeare? Or did they mean that? I was preparing myself. Maybe they did that on purpose to be funny. I prepared for his meat. For his German sausage. His vice versa. There's a Jared Little podcast. Man, this man's got it all. Got a podcast, musical career, sex island. Come on, bro. We came to an agreement and I began preparing myself for the meeting later in the week. A strange thing happened on the day of the date was... A strange thing happened on the day the date was scheduled. Just an hour prior, he sent a message claiming that his car had broken down. I suggested that he get an Uber to my place and we could go out to dinner in my car. Up until this point, no one but my employer knew where I lived. The fewer who knew, the better in my mind. When the message arrived, I stood and stared at the phone screen for a long time, unsure of how to proceed. Something about the message bothered me. It all seemed overly complicated and pointless. For a brief moment, I almost agreed, but at the last second I came up with a better suggestion. I said, I got a better idea. How about you just take the Uber to the restaurant and I'll meet you there? If things go well, maybe I can give you a ride home after. He agreed to this. Things may have gone differently, but he... Wait, what? He agreed. Jared Leto's got the meats. He was morbid after he had got the meat sweats. Oh, this Harvey's cheese melt's really got me morbid. I've been feeling like crying lately and I'm not feeling well, so I'm happy that I managed to find more ambient meditation stuff in Croatian. Oh, that's cool. Oh yeah, you were talking about Croatian like ASMR stuff, or I forget, but you are welcome here and feel free to cry at your leisure. I'm sure many of us, including myself, are crying at all times during the stream. Had he agreed to this, things may have gone differently, but he continued pressing. Now, some red flags were beginning to go up. I'd really like to see you before we go out. Wouldn't you like to know if I'm a toad before wasting money on me? Come on, I'll be a good boy, I promise, he texted me. His pushiness made me uncomfortable and was like unlike. His pushiness made me uncomfortable and was unlike his prior behavior. My gut was telling me to cancel. I waited until a few minutes before I was to leave and sent a message saying that I couldn't make it. I felt like a real tease, but I wasn't willing to risk my safety after all I'd gone through. He tried to change my mind, but by now I'd convinced myself. After he sent 2 more messages, I got fed up and turned off my phone. I figured that I could deal with the fallout in the morning. What awaited me the next morning was nothing short of terrifying. 22 more messages. Each one sounded more desperate than the prior. However, it was the last that made my blood run cold. You're smarter than I gave you credit for. You may have gotten away from me today, but it's only a matter of time before I catch up with you. I've already gotten your number. Your address is next. You can run, but I will find you. Then you're going to regret the day you left. Neil. This was the day that I've been dreading for over a year. Neil was my husband, you see. We'd been high school sweethearts who'd married right after graduation. Everything went okay until he was laid off and he began drinking heavily, and this quickly led to him abusing me mentally and physically. Things came to a head the night that he beat me so badly that I actually lost our child that I was carrying. It was incredible trauma, and he didn't seem to care. I knew right then that the man I'd fell in love with was gone. A heartless psychopath had taken his place, and I no longer had anything holding me there. The next night, I waited until he passed. The next night. You're so good looking, you're gonna marry yourself. That's fine, you know. Might as well. You're stuck with yourself anyways, you might as well. You could divorce yourself and get alimony. That'd be a good way to dodge taxes. The next night, I waited until he passed out and I made my escape. I took the little money I had and contacted a woman from the local women's shelter. She had approached me earlier in the year and given me her card. She told me when I was ready, she'd help me disappear, and that's just what she did. The only mistake I made was contacting my niece to let her know that it was okay. That must have been where Neil got my number. His way of luring me in was certainly imaginative. I'd completely forgotten how manipulative he could be if he wanted something. He used that to his advantage, and it came very close to working. Although he didn't appear yet to know my location, he was right. He would find me if I stayed where I was. So, as I had twice before, I quickly threw my possessions into my car and moved on. I'm currently living across the country, or maybe I'm not, from where I was at the time. A lot of people reading this might wonder why I'm going through all this trouble. All I have to do is get the police involved, right? I did try that course in the beginning, but he violated the orders and attacked me anyway. That way, almost cost me my entire life. Never again. Until he realizes it's not worth his time, I'm willing to continue bouncing from place to place, putting down no roots, even if I die single and alone. Every moment I'm safe makes it worth it. If you ever find yourself in a similar situation, do not hesitate to reach out for help. It may mean the difference between life and death. Alright, so that was story 4. This is story 5. And as you know, it's officially Morbin time. How long did it take you to get to 100, 1,000, 100K, a million subscribers? Well, I think the hardest is the first 1,000, to be honest with you, because it's just like, how do you get known, you know what I mean, from somebody else? And then I think the big thing, like for me, I remember I was thinking about quitting YouTube even when I was at like 25K. I just like didn't feel as if though it was like taking off to the degree of success that I desired, you know what I mean? As weird as that sounds. And then I think it was the true scary stories, you know what I mean, around that time when that started to blow up. I kind of regret that I didn't get into that earlier, but at the same time, you know, I did get it in a time that was able to like really push the stories out to new people. So I've been fortunate to kind of like find your footing in YouTube can be really difficult too, to get like your videos suggested, to have like topics that actually are like more palpable, I guess, or palatable to like a larger audience. It can be difficult, you know what I mean? You kind of have to be clickbaity sometimes. Who actually gonna see Morbius? Who read the comic? I don't know, it seems like a very niche thing, you know what I mean? Spam the like button if you're a cutie pie. Well, this chat is just absolutely flooded with cutie pies. Pies of cutie. Pies just filled with cuties. Couldn't imagine not hearing your stories on YouTube. Well, thank you. Yeah, for whatever reason, you know, something ever happens to YouTube. I don't know why, but there's a lot of random shit. Like, I felt bad for Mr. Creeps. You know, he linked to, you know, the Reddit stories that he'd used. And I think because those people had not safe for work profiles, even though like it's not like their accounts had nudity or anything like that, but just because they may have designated their Reddit profile as like not safe for work, YouTube, you know, gave Mr. Creep's channel like 2 community guideline strikes and essentially made it so that he is not able to post content for a while. And I don't know, there's a lot of like random automated things on YouTube that just sort of like screw over creators, you know what I mean? And so that stuff can happen, but I'm very fortunate that I have the podcast to fall back on if anything ever were to go south. There's a lot more freedom, I guess, over in the podcasting realm, especially within the realm of like monetization and that kind of thing. That's what not safe for work means. No, not safe for work can imply a lot of different things, but I think, I don't know, there's some sort of automated thing within YouTube's thing where if you post a Reddit account that may or may not be, you know, not safe for work or be labeled as not safe for work specific to that, it might recognize it, and then, I don't know. Dark Zeno, good night. Take care. Yeah, I don't know. The more things like get run by AI, because the worst part is like to appeal something you have to go through AI, and then to like get their attention on Twitter you have to go through AI, you know, because that's like, it's like very difficult to communicate with a person sometimes. I've been fortunate where I was able to get more recently a partner manager, so like if things do go south, that should be a good way to communicate with YouTube directly, and it makes me feel as if though I have, you know, support there, which is awesome. I wish all the people in the you know, creepypasta community would have that available to them. In high school, I took part in something I would live to regret. Although I never thought of myself as a mean girl, I see now that I wasn't far off. I had a small group of female friends, and we all thought we were the coolest of cool. We didn't fit in any group per se, but we were closest with the preppy people. More than one of us dated football players and became pretty popular by default. It was a very vapid and empty life in retrospect, but in my 16-year-old mind, I was among the elite of the school. On the other end of the spectrum was Dwight. He was everything you think of when you hear the term neckbeard. His bathing habits were almost non-existent, and his overblown sense of intelligence made him a lot of enemies. Most, if not all, the students I knew couldn't stand the guy. One day during algebra class, a few of us came up with a funny trick to play on him. It was cruel, but we believed that he deserved it because he annoyed us. God, was I a stupid girl. The plan was this. We would write anonymous love letters and drop them in Dwight's locker. If all worked out, he would believe that he had a secret admirer and make an idiot of himself. The end of the plan was something you'll have to wait a little longer to hear. That same day, my girls and I got together at lunch and wrote the first letter. We drew straws to decide who would deliver the letter, and I came up short. We drew straws to decide who would deliver the letter. Sorry, sometimes my tongue doesn't want to work. I was a stupid girl. Yeah, and I know, that's always the meme where it's some dude with a cowboy hat and a mustache and says, I'm a 14-year-old girl. We drew straws to decide who would deliver the letter, and I came up short. I waited until class started and slipped out to use the restroom. This was when I dropped it into his locker. Over the next few weeks, we'd continue with the letters. Soon enough, news reached us of Dwight's secret love. He had been bragging about her before school. He told us firsthand about how sexy she thought he was, and among other things. The urge to laugh in his face was almost unbearable, but none of us gave the game away until the time was right. That time came 2 weeks later. The lunchroom would be the place to spring our trap. Homecoming was coming up, and we decided to use it to our advantage. His secret admirer was ready to show herself, and she wanted him to ask her to the dance. Just to make things that much crueler, he was told to bring a rose with him when they met. When the day came, we told all our friends about our plan. They wanted to be there to witness the funny scene themselves. About 20 or so of us hid around a corner until we showed up. He arrived. He arrived on schedule, rose in hand, but nobody was there to meet him. He began looking around nervously, and that's when we popped out and began laughing. The whole lunchroom was staring as we pointed and mocked him. His face turned bright red, and he looked as if though he was about to begin crying. He ran off at this point, so I can't say if he actually broke down or not. To this day, it's the thing I'm most ashamed of doing. After our horribly cruel joke was done, we went on to other things, all but forgetting about Dwight. I don't remember seeing him for a few days after that. Not that I blame him if he wanted to lay low for a while. Homecoming came and went, and this was when the scary stuff began happening. My first experience was mild compared to some later things. Our house got toilet papered just before a big rainstorm. It took 2 weeks to get all the paper out of the trees and bushes. A similar thing happened to my friend, Stormy. She got lucky though. Without the rain, it wasn't hard to clean up. Things grew more serious from there. Another close friend of mine had her cheerleading yard sign. What? Had her cheerleading yard sign. People didn't act like this in my high school. Thankfully, everyone did their own thing. Yeah, I noticed, like, it was really weird. I remember, like, people in my grade were pretty chill about everything. We didn't even really have, like, a good senior prank. And I would say everyone was kind of, like, you know, in their own little cliques and stuff, that there was never really any sort of hatred or bullying or anything like that that really occurred. Maybe it was, like, underlying and I was unaware of it. Maybe it's because I was a bully and I was busy like drowning people in the toilets and stuff. No, I'm just kidding. But then I noticed like the kids that were like 2 years older when I was like a sophomore and they were like seniors, they were a bunch of assholes. Like it was weird how much different their culture was than ours. Another close friend of mine had her cheerleading yard sign burned in her front. Cheerleading, what is it? Cheerleading yard sign? What the fuck is that? Joel was the school bully. Yeah, I had like a hockey stick, and I would wear one of those like hats that were like rainbow, but it also had like a little propeller on the top. It would make noise too, so they knew I was coming. I was coming, and I needed my lunch money. John Joe with the 10. Thank you, my friend. That's a cool emoji. I don't think I've seen that one before. The deal with it meme. Hawk, you posted more food pics. Hawk, I can honestly say your food looks amazing. Like, and especially considering the fact that you do have to do quite a bit of traveling to get into town to get that food. It makes it all the more impressive. I bullied you into making cheerleading yard sale signs. We're selling all of our cheerleading gear. All the pom-poms. I'll read you to death. Another close friend of mine had her cheerleading yard sign burned in her front yard. All the windshield wipers on my car were ripped off and the windows were covered in shoe polish. Stormy's brand new birthday present, a beautiful red Mustang, was keyed up and down both sides. Similarly, I had all 4 of my tires slashed. We had nothing to give the police or to our parents, and the truth is, we'd made a lot of people angry, and we couldn't prove it was anyone over the other. Made a lot of people mad, we couldn't, okay. Truth is, we made a lot of people mad, and we couldn't prove it was anyone over the other. One final statement would cause us to break. One weeknight around 2 a.m., a loud crash came through my window. I leapt out of bed to see glass all over the floor. I couldn't see what had caused it until I turned on my overhead light. Stuck halfway under my bed was a brick with a letter attached to it. Before I could read it, my mother started banging on my door. I was unsure of what it said, so I ripped off the brick and stuck it in my pocket. He ripped the brick off and stuck the brick in her pocket. I'm gonna need this brick. I don't know what this paper is though, but definitely gonna need this brick. Haters with the 2 says I can't take the word. Well, did I say that word? I don't think I did. But thank you for the 2. I'm arriving. I was unsure what it said, so I ripped it off the brick and stuck it in my pocket prior to letting my mom in. She did her usual overdramatic thing while I cleaned up the glass, and things quickly blew over and she went back to bed. I did a temporary patch in the window and crawled back and... What the fuck? They had a brick thrown through their window and they went back to bed. What the fuck? What sports were you into in high school? I played football pretty much since like 6th grade into senior year. And then I hated football senior year because I just thought it was so stupid anymore. And so I quit my senior year, and then I played rugby. And rugby was weird because it was like you're so used to the regimented nature of football, like the seriousness of it. And rugby was just like so haphazard by comparison, at least in the coaching sense. But it was a lot of fun too, because it was like nice to kind of like have all those years of training to be stronger or whatever, and then kind of just go against like random people that, I mean, they definitely knew more about the game, but we had a bunch of friends who joined it, and we were substantially more athletic than the conventional people that were there. So it was a good time. I was a cool kid. I played rugby. Yeah, we had a team. It was fun. I got in a fight in rugby, I remember. That was stupid. And I had like because this one guy was like, I don't even know, it was after like some scrum, ruck, whatever the word is. And like, I don't know, he was just like basically like trying to put me in like a chokehold from like above me. And I actually thought I was gonna die, so just like afterwards I just like let out like the most dissatisfying punch ever, but I like punched him in the chest. And I was just really stupid. But I got like put in the sin bin with you. Was I an All Blacks fan? Yeah, the All Blacks are cool. I like the dance they do and stuff. I mean, I didn't really, you know, I think sevens, I would watch sevens from time to time, but I never really cared that much about the sport as like an organized thing. I just wanted something to do. Have I ever lost a fight? I don't know. I consider every fight to be a loss, really, because you just end up coming out looking like an asshole. Yeah, I wore a Letterman's jacket. No, I would never do that. It was so funny though, dude, because there was a guy in my college, and he was so funny. He would wear his high school Letterman's jacket around the college, and I guess, you know, if that's all you had for a coat, but like it was very, he like would wear it like unironically, like it wasn't to be funny or anything like that. Like he was honestly very proud of his previous years of playing footy ball. SJ Curtis with the Zoo says, ever played a musical instrument? I tried different stuff. I tried to learn to play guitar. I tried to learn to play banjo, but I just didn't have the patience or like the training, I guess, because I always try to teach myself, and I just couldn't do it. Do I have a favorite sport? Yeah, fucking racquetball, baby. Let's go. Or Foursquare. Foursquare is pretty cool. You asked your preacher today after he let me if all farts go to heaven. Well, you know, hot air rises. It's true. Does anyone else's audio go out for a second? Sometimes. Banjo. Yeah. Wanted to do banjo because I was obsessed with this one artist named Sufjan Stevens. Sufjan. And I just thought all of his music was awesome, and he incorporated like banjo into it in a way that was like not like country, not necessarily bluegrass, but it just like had its own very unique sound, and I wanted to be Sufjan. I would like to ask if it's possible for you to please add chapters or timestamps in your videos. It makes it a lot easier to keep track of stories. I do, yeah. I've always had timestamps in my videos. We can start a band on Monday with half an hour and a couple empty bottles. Pull it together, mate. We can do it. Yeah, Sufjan's awesome. I love Sufjan. I haven't, like... Well, I have... What do I have? I can see it from here. Oh, yeah. Like, my first album I heard was Come On, Feel the Illinois. And I remember listening to it and then wanting it on CD. So I went to Best Buy, and it was like Best Buy in that area was so, I don't even know. People weren't, obviously people weren't really buying CDs, or that was around the time where like purchasing of CDs was becoming like less common, and just, getting music online or whatever for your iPod was, or your iPhone or whatever the fuck was more common. But they had one copy of Come On and Feel the Illinois on CD, and that shit was fucking cool. I don't know, I just love the way Sufjan tells stories with his music. He even has a song about John Wayne Gacy Jr., and somehow he's able to make it as unnerving as it is interesting. Favorite video game of all time? It's hard to say. There's so many good ones. I remember when I was playing Fez. Did you ever play Fez? There was something about Fez that was really, really peaceful. And just, I like those games you just like constantly having like progression. I kind of like side scrollers a lot. They're always fun. But the Mario games, I remember like being like insanely pleasantly surprised when I played Mario, I think it was Mario Galaxy 2 on the Wii. Was it? I think it was on the Wii. And I just remember it was so much fun. Like there was so many freaking levels, and there was just always like a new concept or new ability that you could unlock or experience in almost every level. And it was still very challenging, and then after you beat it, you pretty much had the whole game over again, but just like harder, or something. And I remember playing the one that's on the Switch now, and it was very underwhelming. Like it was a good game, but like as far as the challenge went, it seemed like they really dumbed down the challenge and stuff. Super Mario Brothers. Play Maple Story. Yeah, which one's that? I'm thinking of Downwell or Well Story. You should look into the new indie game coming out called Stray. It's about a cat walking around in cyberpunk environment. Oh, I think I saw that one, actually, because I'm always like on les Reddit r/games, and they always have the new stuff. I did see that they were remaking Resident Evil 4 for the PS5. I feel like that should be pretty sick, even though I was like too scared to play it in the past. Joel, before I go to sleep, I was thinking, I've never heard you do a story on the Colonial Parkway murders. I live close to it, so it would be a cool story to hear. I could give us some inside info. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, I am not familiar. Okay. She did her usual over. Oh, yeah. She was incredibly dramatic about the whole thing, and I just went to clean up the glass. Eventually, we started to get things figured out, and just things blew over, and she went back to bed. I did a temporary patch on the window and crawled back into bed itself. Only then did I unfold the note. It was scrawled in black ink and read simply, "Say you're sorry." The next day at school, I showed it to the other two girls. Okay, I am so fucking confused in this story. Like, you had a brick thrown through your window with a note, and your mom just like, you're saying your mom was over dramatic, and then like instantaneously the next sentence, like, she went back to bed. All right, sweetie, well, you get that glass cleaned up and we'll figure it out in the morning. I wasn't a big fan of Mario. Donkey Kong is awesome. Donkey Kong reminds me of Al's Pizza. Why? Because that's where the arcade game was. I played DK while waiting for pizza. Oh, that's sweet. Yeah, I remember there was like some like video game record holder or something like that. I forget what it was called, like Fistful of Coins or something. And it was about a guy who was insanely good at playing the old Donkey Kong game. But then wasn't there like a guy who got the world record in that, and then I think he was cheating or something? I forget. But man, he literally was like a superhero villain, because he just like he would wear like a suit and have long hair, and really loved the fact, found himself very admirable for having like a world record on Donkey Kong, making all the panties wet. Justin with the 5 says, I love Mario Galaxy. It was my favorite game along with Paper Mario. What else is my favorite? Asking if hot dog is a sandwich. Also a good story. You're getting better, Justin. You actually caught me off guard with that one. It's starting to get up there with getting tricked into saying ligma. Clever girl. I am Scottish. Nice. He used an emulator and got caught. Yeah, I don't understand, like, but wasn't he using like a full ass rig where everybody had to like sit and watch him, or was he doing it at home or something? Or did he like install something into the switchboard, or you know what I mean? Like that just all seems so complicated. Box of Sorrows with 5 says, just wanted to say happy early birthday. Not going to make it to the B-Day stream. Taking the kids to an indoor water park. Excited to listen the day after. Nice. That sounds fucking sick. Indoor water park. I don't even know anywhere in Pennsylvania that has one of those. But I would go to it all year round and shit in the pool. Do that for me while you're there if you could. Just take a big shit in the pool. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But thank you for the early B-Day wish. I appreciate it. She did her usual overdramatic thing while I cleaned up the glass. Things quickly blew over and she went back to bed. I did a temporary patch on the window and crawled back into bed myself. Only then did I unfold the note. It was scrawled in black ink and read simply, "Say you're sorry." The next day at school, I showed it to the 2 other girls. We still weren't positive that Dwight was the one doing all this, but we were desperate. We were scared and just wanted it all to be over. We waited until we saw him at his locker and confronted him about the note. He was calm and unconcerned. He took a quick glance at us and said something to the effect of, "I don't know anything about it, but maybe you should start by apologizing to all the people you've screwed over. All the terrible stuff might stop." That was just what we had planned, and just what we did. One by one, each of us who had been attacked told all of our victims that we were sorry. I can't say every apology was heartfelt, but we did it. A few people told us to screw off, but we accepted it. A funny thing happened after doing all that. I began to feel better about myself, actually. I've been an insecure child my whole life. Slowly, I made the effort to be kinder to the people and to the humans. To the other humans. I suppose I should be nicer to these meat sacks. There's a haunted park called Hummel Park. Lots of personal stories I have there. Interesting. Justin with the 5 says, I take pride in the ways I help people ponder the real questions. It's what I do. Also, you've had good topics for the past few weeks. Good job, sir. Thank you. Yeah. I have. I was thinking that too whenever I was like starting to get them compiled and stuff. I was like, you know who's going to like this? Just in case is going to like this. Have ever broken a bone? I broke my finger. My fingy. My chicken finger. Twitter fingers turned to chicken fingers. But no, I've been fortunate to not have done that. I think I just, drank a lot of milk growing up, so my bones were strong. They were skronk. But I also never really, did anything to really beg for that to happen, I suppose. Even though I did, snowboarding and skateboarding a little bit and had some crashes, but I never really got, fucked up from it, you know what I mean? Do people ever recognize you in public because of your voice? They do not, no. But they do start drooling. As they listen to me for a longer period of time, they just stare with their mouth open. Their mouth agape. With just, saliva dripping down. And I get very concerned with that. Slowly, I made the effort to be kinder to people and it paid off. By graduation, I'd befriended several of those I once openly mocked. It cost me a few of my pizzas. It cost me a few of my old friends, but I didn't miss them much. Because of that one cruel joke, I'm a far better person than I was at 16. After all these years, one little question remains. Was it Dwight who did all those awful things to us? He was at our 10-year class reunion, and I considered asking him. In the end, I didn't want to dredge up all that past ill will, so I didn't. It was the most probable answer, but there are others just as possible. Maybe all our victims play their own part. A bit of murder on the Orient Express, if you will. I won't say I'm glad it happened in that way. I was terrified, and I don't believe in violence to get what you want. I will say one thing, though. I hope he's truly as happy now as he appeared when I last saw him. I wouldn't wish his style of revenge on anyone. You don't want him as an enemy. I did not break my pinky last stream, just bone bruise. Oh, interesting. I feel like I vaguely remember you talking about that. But sometimes it's hard to keep up with the chat. Alright, so this is story 6. And also the last story of the evening. Oh man, it's only been 2 hours and 20 minutes. That leads me to believe that unless this one's super long, which it's not short, but I might not be my typical length and girth of a video. Does anyone else have a secret admirer story that they could recant in text format? Vision Psycho Stick was the best skateboard ever. Psycho Stick? Why does that sound so familiar? If you ever want to learn another language, what language would you like to learn? Maybe le French? I feel like, Spanish right now, learning that. But that would probably be the most useful. Mega with the 5 says, America's largest indoor water park is indeed in Pennsylvania, and it's actually pretty close to the new house of Mega Sweetjoy. Oh, interesting. Well, you don't have to dox yourself and tell me, but how would I not know that, though? The fact that there's a big indoor water park in Pennsylvania. That's weird. You had a stalker in college, but that's a little different. Dang it. Well, hopefully someone here has not necessarily has a secret admirer, but hopefully secretly admires somebody else and can tell me something. Give me something. Holy crap. Joel, what do you do when you like a person who doesn't like you back? Oh yeah, you just move on. There's literally like 7 billion fucking people on Earth. Spanish is very, yeah. That would be really funny. Going through the drive-thru and... In the spring of 2017, I had a somewhat unnerving experience with a girl's father that leaves me remorseful to this day. The whole episode started a couple of months earlier. I was nearing 23 and my life was headed nowhere, essentially. One cold evening after work, I discovered a note under the windshield wiper of my car. It was dark and I was tired, so I stuck it in my pocket and drove home. The next morning, I remembered it and took it out to read. It was from an unknown girl. She'd seen me in the store before and was interested in getting to know me. It didn't say how she knew which car was mine, but I didn't really care. The small details weren't important. After almost a 2-year dry spell, things were finally looking up, so I thought. Another week passed and a second note appeared. In a nutshell, My admirer wanted to fucking meet, you know what I mean? I am a stalker. I stalk the cake, then I pull a knife and cut a piece, then I devour it. It's very dangerous. The wild Althea stalks its prey with a knife. Slicing into it delicately, she cuts it into a triangle-like portion, almost like a pie or a cake. Shoveling it into her mouth, she's ravenous. In a nutshell, my secret admirer wanted us to meet that coming Friday. If I was interested, I was to leave my answer in the same place as she had been leaving her letters. Naturally, I was very interested. My next shift, I stuck my answer under the driver's side wiper and prayed that she would pick it up. She did just that and left a time and location behind for me to meet her. Behind? What does that mean? Do you think I'm more paranoid after becoming a scary story narrator? I don't think so. I think I'm aware of these things, but I live in a nice area. And, as a karate expert, knowing that I can just, with like one swipe of my palm, essentially cut someone's head off, like decapitate them with my karate chop, that gives me confidence to go out at night for walks, naked. Sorry. Anyways. She did just that and left a time and location behind for me to meet her. This took place on a Wednesday, which meant that I only had one full day to prepare. I got up especially early the next day so I could get everything done before work. In addition to a nice short haircut, I also combed every man's clothing store I could find for the perfect outfit. I eventually got what I needed and headed to work. By the last hour of my shift on Friday, my guts were a churning mess. I had 2 hours between getting off of work and a date time, I have a black belt. It holds up my pants. That's funny. I feel like that's like the best dad joke I've seen all night tonight. Did you take... Yeah, never mind. You already heard it. I had 2 hours between getting off of work and date time, which I spent on the toilet. Around 6:45, I took a quick shower and made my way to the spot. I entered and instantly made eye contact with this amazing girl. If this was her, I had hit pay dirt. The girl stood up and approached me. She introduced herself. Dude, I can't make it up. Fuck. Yeah, best way to prepare for a date. Yeah, it's weird that they're like implying that, like, I assume he's like saying he has diarrhea because he's nervous, but they haven't technically explained why he has diarrhea. So like someone mentioned Taco Bell in the chat, so I was assuming eventually we get to a Taco Bell reference in this story, but I'll just assume that was they ate like a chalupa between work shifts. She introduced herself as Carissa and told me I looked very handsome. This had turned out to be the luckiest day of my life. We sat down at the table and looked at each other. The waitress walked up and took our drink orders. While we waited, we made small talk. Both of us were clearly nervous and stumbled over our words. I was so amazed at how beautiful she was. It was like God had made her just for me. The red of her hair was like fire and her blue eyes reminded me of jewels. The waitress returned and we ordered our meals. Things began to get more relaxed after that. I asked her the normal stuff like her background and family. I told her more about me and how I'd arrived at my present state. The usual stuff, I guess. I knew even before the date had ended that I wanted to see her again. and she happily agreed, and we made plans for the next Saturday. As childish as it may sound, I was already falling in love. The week in between the first and second dates seemed like an eternity, but when the time did come, I was no less excited to see her than the night we met. The two of us would continue meeting for another month. There was no sense of urgency, yet it didn't seem logical to drag our feet either. She expressed the desire for me to meet her parents. A serious step in any relationship, and I was both excited and terrified in equal measures, but she assured me that her folks would love me. I went into the meeting with that in mind. Overall, things seemed to go well, although I did sense a bit of hesitance on the part of her father. I could tell that he was a very traditional type of man and attempted to portray himself in the same manner. I couldn't tell if he accepted me or not, so I had to rely on Carissa's assurances. I had no idea how bad things were. I had no idea how bad things. Why can't I say that right? I had no idea how bad things were about to get. I had no idea how bad things were about to get. In hindsight, I question if I should have been more honest about my past to avoid any unforeseen things creeping up on me unaware. Perhaps I wouldn't have been caught so unprepared when it did happen. It had only been 3 or 4 days since meeting with Carissa's parents when a terrifying thing occurred. I was driving home after working a double and I was exhausted. I had just exited the highway and was about a mile from home when the lights of a cop car lit up my rearview mirror. I pulled over into the nearest parking lot and removed my license and insurance from my wallet. The cop approached my driver's side window and I was shocked to see that it was Carissa's dad. Somehow, in the tension of the meeting, I forgot to ask what he did for a living. He hadn't given me that cop vibe that night, but it now made sense. I was unsure of why he had pulled... Whoops. Please tell us, Joel, how bad are things about to get? Find out on the next episode of Creepy Stalker Bullshit. I was unsure why I had been pulled over. Maybe I had been swerving because I was tired. It was possible. I rolled down my window and said hi. He ignored me and asked for my paperwork. I gave it to him, and he walked back to his car. Something seemed off about the entire scenario. I knew for a fact that I wasn't speeding, nor did I have any malfunctioning parts in my car. When he returned, I asked him for an explanation. He ignored me and handed my papers back. His silence and aloof manner were starting to make me angry. We just stared at one another for about 10 seconds before he finally coughed up a reason. Not word for word, but he informed me that he had done a background check on me and discovered that I had an arrest for drug possession and DUI when I was 18. I admitted to it and explained that it was a stupid mistake and I'd learned my lesson. I hadn't drunk any alcohol or touched anybody. I hadn't drunk. Is it drank or drunk? Yeah, it's not a cop. It's 3 ducks in a man's costume. That was the dad the whole time. Big trench coat. I hadn't drank any alcohol or touched another drug since then. Not to mention, had as much as a ticket in the intervening years. He wasn't listening. I was told explicitly that I was never to see his daughter again, and this made me furious. She was an adult, and he had no say in the matter, and I told him as much. And this was the wrong thing to do. He told me if I insisted on seeing her again that I would be harassed by him and his fellow officers to the point of planting drugs in my car or on my person. I felt the air had been knocked out of me. That was it. I tapped out. It had taken me this long just to be able to get a decent job. I wasn't willing to lose everything for a girl I hardly knew. If it had been a test of my determination, I'd failed. I indicated that I understood, and he sent me on my way. I wasn't going back to jail. I wasn't going back to jail for anyone, and the thought of going back terrified me. I wasn't a tough guy. My first visit still haunted me 5 years later. I pulled off the phone. Jesus Christ. I put off the phone call until the end of the following day. I considered just sending her a text, but thought it too cowardly. Around 9 p.m., I made the call. I tried small talk, but she could sense what I was doing and demanded I spit it out. I did it as fast as possible and hung up. I wanted to give her the real reason, but thought it may cause more problems down the line. She called back a few times that night, but I didn't answer. What was done was done. I never saw or spoke to her again. To my relief, her dad held his side of the bargain too. I don't harbor any ill will toward him. I suppose I may have done something similar if I had a daughter. I can't really say for sure. My life is going okay at present, but a day doesn't pass that I don't think of what could have happened. I hope she found someone who makes her happy, I guess. There's a lot I wish I could take back, but hurting that girl is the only thing that I truly regret. Oh, drunk means the consumption happened a while ago? Ah, okay. He drunk. It just sounds weird to me for some reason. Yeah, he drunk it. Took her to my house and we drunk it. I don't even understand how that guy couldn't hold like some level of resentment toward the cop that threatened to ruin your life because you had a DUI. Like, what are you talking about? That just seems like really backwards reasoning. Alright. 1 a.m., but I still feel like we should probably read one more. Let's see if I can find a secret admirer story. Super scary stories. Let me just type admire. Here we go. Wait. My creepy admirer. Okay. Whatever. It's content. We got it. Anybody here named Shadow Wolf 086 from Reddit? You admire the block of cheese in my fridge. Joel, my queen, I need a color. Choose a color for me that I can paint. Maybe like an auburn brown, I suppose. Not poop, but just auburn. Let me start off this story by saying it is a very long one. One that unfortunately doesn't have a concrete end as of yet. I do wish to remain entirely anonymous, so I will not be using any real names just in case. I'm currently a 29-year-old female. I'll be calling myself Kai. At the time of the beginning of this tale, I was 19. Now, a little backstory, I was pretty much a loner in high school. I had only really one friend that we'll call Alex that I hung out with. During my 8th grade year, Alex and I dated a bit over the summer. Unfortunately, things did not end up going well, another story for another time, but he unnerved me with some of his behavior. It was in my 9th grade year that I met the boy that I would later marry, and we'll call him Colby, and this is where our story has its true beginning. It was 2009. I had recently graduated high school in my local hometown after moving back from Montana. Colby and I had been dating at this time for around 2 years, and we were very close. My last year of high school, I spent most of my time hanging out with him and his friends, a group of wild, misfit young men. I loved them all. For the first time in my school life, I felt accepted. I felt exculpated. I felt sculpted. Get on with that, with great haste. Good. We must do it for the kingdom. I gotta sneeze. I'm about to sneeze. Oh my. Do it for the vine. My eyes are green. My daughter used to call me pickle eyes. Oh my god. That's a great way to just... Oh no, the sex bots are here. Run, everyone run. Hawk got it. Nice. Where's Jacob? Jacob, what the hell? Where are you? Oh man, now my nose is stuffy. I just think it's funny, like, when people are trying, or like whenever like these bots are trying to entice you to go to their like clearly like scamming website, that one of the things they try to sell to people is like high definition. Like what? Like as if though like coming across high definition pornography is like a hot commodity. Ooh, hot damn. I'm used to looking to the fucking 480p shit. We're about to get some fucking 1080 quality on my screen here. Better click on this random profile on a YouTube stream. It's just weird to think, like, who even makes these? Maybe it's just a troll thing, I don't even know. How could you ignore the single hot females or single hot MILFs in your area? She wants to see me with great haste. Naz Dralvji means bless you in Serbian, Croatian. Nice, thank you, appreciate that. Here, let me actually look up how to pronounce it. On Forvo, not to be confused with 5-0. It is a troll. Well, I don't think it's a troll because there's an option, Hawk, whenever I click on it to say like hide this person. It's basically banning somebody, you know what I mean, that's been bad. And when I click on it, it says like unhide this profile. So for some reason it's like able to bypass the hiding mechanism in YouTube's chat. Oh, I can't find Nozdravlji on... Are you sure it's that? Or is it sure that's how it's spelled? Oh, I think I had an extra Z, my bad. Too many Z's. Here it is. Croatian, Serbian. Nazdravlje. 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 Joel the Troll, remember Rocket League Let's Play? Yeah, it's been years, huh? Gonna have to go back to it. That's because a mod got it before you. No, that's the thing, is that, wait, well maybe, actually, maybe when I'm clicking on it, it says unhide because of that, but I swear to God, like, there was one time where it was not addressed, and it had that. No, you're right, maybe. I don't fucking know. Maybe there is just like multiple ones that get created, but it's weird that they're always like the same, you know? It can't possibly just be like a random person making the accounts, other than the fact that it's like trying to scam you. Yeah, have you ever wondered if you yourself are the hot single in your area? I've wondered that oftentimes, and like, you know, I'm like, is someone gonna make an ad for me to let various horny people on their computer know that I'm ready and willing? Or should I be a scared? Should I anticipate knocks at my door in the middle of the night? Yeah, hey, I was on Pornhub and I saw an ad for you. Said you were hot, single, ready to tinkle. Oh, yes. Please, right this way. Beautiful night. Yeah, it's pretty nice out. Yeah, you guys need to make me an ad to sell on X Hamster. For the first time in my school life, I felt accepted, wanted. They had their faults, but anything weird they did was nothing compared to what was going. God, dude, I don't even know why I'm all allergied up. They had their faults, but anything weird they did was nothing compared to what was going to walk into our lives next. I'm a year and a half older than Colby, so after I graduated, he still had more than a year to go. It was in that year that he met who we'll call Jake. He met him in a vocational class they took as an optional course. Sometimes I wish he had never stepped foot in that classroom. It all started when Colby had befriended Jake enough to give him my phone number. Colby explained that the boy had been schooled. Fuck, dude. I can't tell if it's fucking allergies or what, but I'm all sorts of clogged in my nose. I gotta go to rehab. Hurt my nose. My favorite childhood memory? I don't know. I remember I used to visit my one cousin because we had birthdays pretty close to each other. His was in July, and we used to go to each other's houses for the weekend on our birthdays every year. And I don't know, hanging out with him was always awesome because it was down in the farmland, and we always did like very unique things that were just very different to my raising. Do you have a dehumidifier? I do, but it's not on right now. I don't really think a dehumidifier would necessarily. I almost feel like I need to turn on the humidifier, but fuck, man. I don't know why. Like, ever since I sneezed, and I don't know. There is a really bad pollen, and I don't know if it's in the fucking walls, dude. For the first time in my school life, I felt accepted, wanted. They had their faults, yes, but anything weird they did was nothing compared to what was going to walk into our lives next. I'm a year and a half older than Colby, so after I graduated, he still had one more year to go. It was in that year that he met who we'll call Jake. He met him in a vocational class that he took as an optional course, and sometimes I wish he had never stepped foot in that classroom. It all started when Colby had befriended Jake enough to give him my phone number. Colby explained that the boy had been homeschooled and was terribly lonely. He seemed to have the same interests as Colby and I, so I didn't terribly mind. At first, I felt sorry for him. He did actually call me the same night that Colby gave him my number, reason being I was working on a project that required voice acting, which he was extremely into. We talked for a bit, and he seemed like an okay guy. As the weeks progressed, Colby was delighted that we were all getting along so well. Unfortunately, that didn't last long. One night after we had had a handful of phone conversations, Joel, they're in your walls. They're behind your mirror. Holy shit. I'm fucked. They're in my goddamn nose. My nostrils. My nostril domuses. Where's my trash can? Fuck. Someone stole my trash can. Blow it. Blow it. I know. I'm trying. Alright, Colby explained that the boy had been homeschooled. That explains it, right there. No, I'm just kidding. As the weeks progressed, Colby was delighted. Have you ever tried Grether's Pastilles for your voice? What is that? Benadryl is my go-to plug. Okay. Yeah, I didn't have any issues, but yeah, Benadryl knocks me out, which is kind of bad. It makes me really drowsy. As the weeks progressed, Colby was delighted that we were all getting along so well. Unfortunately, that didn't last long. One night after we had maybe a handful of phone conversations, I was about to hang up with Jake and call Colby when he says to me, "Wow, you're so easy to talk to. I've never felt like this before. It's like I've known you my whole life." Taken aback, I merely agreed before quickly hanging up. I shrugged off the offhanded comment and tried to forget, but that was a big mistake. The following weeks were a torrent of daily calls. Jake began calling every single day. At first, it was kind of nice to have someone to talk to during the day. I still live with my parents, but they were busy wrapping things up with selling the house back in Montana, and my older brother worked odd hours. Jake then began exhibiting some behavior that truly began to throw me off. Like I said, he would call daily. He would expect me to talk to him for hours, too. If I hung up, he'd just call right back. And I know what you're thinking. Just don't answer. Well, I wanted to do that after a while, but I didn't want my parents finding out what was going on. I did try mentioning all this to Colby, but he managed to convince me that I was just being paranoid. I know now that I wasn't. At July, Colby and I's good friend, and we'll call him Mike, was having his birthday party. He also knew Jake from the same class that he'd shared with Colby, so he was also invited to the party. This was my first time meeting Jake in person. I was already wary of this guy, but I won't ever forget the way that he looked at me the first time he saw me, like a lion looks at an antelope. He politely introduced himself and shook my hand, making me internally shudder. Not once did he even seem to blink while looking at me. Colby could tell that I was a little uncomfortable, so he led the way into the living room and we sat down on the love seat. Jake entered and sat down on the couch, with Mike standing behind him. After a few moments, Jake patted the seat next to him while looking at me. "You know, you could sit over here. I don't bite." Yes, he really did this right in front of Colby. You have to understand, Colby is a nice guy to a fault. He honestly had felt so sorry for this kid that he continued to give him the benefit of the doubt. Why would Kai sit over there? I'm over here and I'm her boyfriend." I remained quiet, merely nodding. Doing a bit of nodding. If anyone plays Animal Crossing, you got big ups, foe. Be careful with all those ups. You never know, some people might not always prefer big ups. Sometimes they prefer giant ups. Huge, colossal ups. I remained quiet, merely nodding while cuddling, and I can't say nodding while cuddling. I remained quiet, merely nodding while cuddling into Colby's side. Jake pouted, but the rest of the party went on fairly normal. When it came time for me to leave, however, Jake became overwhelmingly upset that I didn't give him a hug. I ignored this and went home. For all intents and purposes, this story should have ended there. Should have, but didn't. Jake is a master at making others feel sorry for him. A few weeks later and throughout the summer, he continued to call me. What if I told you there's a lizard in my room right now? Holy shit. Is it talking to you? If so, what does it say? Joel, I need you to do more ASMR. Okay, we'll do it right now. Ruff, 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 ruff. I don't know. I give up. ASMR is from the devil. That'd be really funny if there was like a mom or dad. My mom, I can't fall asleep because I can't listen to my ASMR YouTube videos anymore. Well, why not? Well, my mom says that ASMR is from the devil. And that they're just using their weird lip smacking noises and like eating of food and mukbangs as a way to just like appeal to a bunch of perverts online. Oh. Maybe it is from the devil. I don't know. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I should just fall asleep like a normal person and take drugs. Hey Lila, how are you? Joel is I'm not just a furry, I'm a fury. I'm a furious furry. It proceeds to start licking a rubber ear. Dude, I remember watching like Amaranth's stream where she was just licking ears, and I'm like, how's that thing not eroded yet? You know what I mean? For how many licks there's been. It's kind of like whenever like people have walked the same like goat path for years, you start to see where they've been traveling and it creates a trail. That's what I imagine is going to start happening to that poor microphone. It's going to start just like burrowing away, just starts evaporating. Isn't my first Sona a slug? Oh, that's right. So it's gonna take me a while to get over there. How many hours have I spent watching Amaranth? Enough to see her go through a fucking ear microphone like a jawbreaker, dude. That shit is, she's gone through like 9 different microphones. They start to melt like Hershey's chocolate. With your slug ass. Hey, don't make fun of my slug Sona. Your birthday falls on a Friday this year. Hell yeah. Going out. How many hours do I work a week? I don't know. I do the streams and all this other random shit. It's definitely not as crazy. It's just like, it's one of those things where it's like not as crazy as a normal job, but it's like you're constantly thinking about it all the time and like keeping up with. That kind of plays it up a little too much. It's a good job. I'm very thankful. Thanks, guys. See ya. Yeah, how many licks to the center of the ear microphone? Alright, where the fuck was I? I remain quiet, right? One evening, Jake. This isn't even really like a secret admirer story, but whatever. We'll keep it at the end. Okay, I have no idea where I was at. A few weeks later and throughout the summer, he called me on the daily. It got to the point of anger. Alright. I remained quiet, merely nodding while cuddling into Colby's side. Jake pouted, but the rest of the party went on fairly normal. When it came time for me to leave, however, Jake became overwhelmingly upset that I didn't give him a hug. I ignored this and went home. For all intents and purposes, the story should have ended there. Should have, but didn't. And Jake is a master at making others feel sorry for him. A few weeks later and throughout the summer, he continued calling me daily. It got to the point of angering Colby when he would call me and wouldn't be able to get through. I had made up my mind that I had had enough of this and was not going to play nice anymore. If he annoyed me, I was going to tell him. One evening, Jake called me. Groaning when I saw the caller ID, I picked up the phone. Jake's cheerful voice greeted me, and we chatted for a while before he said possibly the most disturbing thing he'd said yet. It's not like he'd cheat on Colby with me. Annoyed at this point with his antics, I shot back, "No, I love Colby, and Colby would kill you." This seemed to put an end to things for a while. That fall, we all got a job working at a haunted attraction nearby on a farm. We were all overjoyed to get to work together. Jake unfortunately put a stop to that too. The hours were from around 6 to 12 or 1 a.m. We usually timed it where we would arrive at around 4 or 5 so we would have time to put all our costume makeup on for the attraction and relax a bit prior to work. Well, one day when we arrived, I had to use the bathroom very badly. Thinking nothing of it, as we were on a farm, I informed Colby that I would be walking down the little hill for a bit, my code for bathroom. Colby nodded in understanding and agreed to stand guard, and I walked down the little slope and set about to do my business when I heard Jake calling for me. I heard Colby telling him that I'm going to the bathroom and not to go around back of the barn. And yes, you guessed it. Here I am with my pants down, and here comes Jake around the corner of the barn. You know, exactly where Colby told him not to come. Colby runs him off, but not before the... God, this... I can't even, include this story. Literally nothing happens in this story. I feel bad. I mean, I don't know. Colby runs him off, but not before he manages to steal a quick peek. I still shudder to this day recalling that. Jake had done a lot of other creepy things over the years since then, such as staring directly at me while Colby and I kissed one time. Other things I simply cannot say here as they're too explicit. We do still have contact with him, and I still occasionally see him. So Jake, if you're reading this and can work out that it's you I'm talking about, please take a hint. Oh man. Yeah, I don't think I can really include that story. It's just nothing happened at all. Ice Latte with the 5 says, "Yo, I'm so excited to catch you live. Thank you for soothing me to sleep." You're welcome, Ice Latte. Good to see you, and thanks. Thank you for the 5. I feel bad. We kind of I don't think it's the end, though. Joe, would you please do stories about movies with morbid backstories? For example, The Wizard of Oz's Dark History. Are you saying that you want me to do more content about movies where it's Morbin time. The Dark History of Morbius. Wouldn't make as much sense if you have never been here with the vegan hipsters. Isn't it weird to think that like everything we do in our life that like is like mildly involved with like culture and identity is sort of the same psychology as joining a cult? Like it's not exactly the same, but it's like cult light, you know what I mean? Like Kool-Aid light. I'm gonna flip out of my bed because it said Morbius is a bad thing because I can't do a flip. Sometimes when it's Morbin time, it's Morbin time. You just get that involuntary movement to morb. Ah, fuck. Yeah, kind of sucks. I was hoping that one would actually be about a secret admirer or like literally anything creepy happen. But I just like hate like posting stories where like I know that I'm going to get comments where people say like, that wasn't scary, let's read. I come here for the scary, and if you post one more not scary story, I'm fucking unsubscribing. I've watched all 900 of your videos, but this one particular story, if it happens again, I'm abandoning all the progress we've made in our relationship. Our parasocial back and forth relationship. Haters with the 5 says, you should add this story even though it's not relevant to the theme. You could include it as a bonus story. It'll make your content better. Alright, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I probably will. Just, I don't know. I've read shitty stories in the past, and people kind of get over it, I guess. And Haters with another 2 says, and you can do it here and there, not all the time. Okay. I appreciate it. He morbed. This story was just really morbid. How the Simpsons Matt Growing is from Portland. Nice. Portlandia. I don't remember, friends. Peanut butter whisker. Oh yeah, that's right. I should probably like do some sort of. Oh, you know what I could do? I'll just do a little read right now. Yeah. What am I going to say? Should I write it out? Hey guys. Tomorrow, Saturday. Hey friends. Tomorrow, Saturday, June 4th, is my birthday. And I'd love for you to join me for a birthday live stream. It starts at 9 p.m. EST and we'll go to ? I'll be reading your submitted stories live, and there may or may not be peanut butter whiskey. Winky face, winky face. See you then. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. I'll say see you tomorrow. Yeah. Joel, I've coughed up scarier stuff in that story. That is very true, but I'm going to need proof. Ice Latte with the 5 says, any creepy Tinder, Uber, stalker stories? Those are true. Well, they're definitely on the channel. I've definitely done online dating and Tinder videos. Uber for sure. Taxi stories as well. Stalker, like I have like 10,000 volumes of stock. I got a whole playlist devoted to stalker stuff. Joe, I'll make you a cheesecake carrot cake for free. Please do. That sounds so fucking good. Alright. I actually have to open up like Word document. Or, you know what? Let me just, yeah. We'll open up a Word document and then I can copy paste this shit so I can actually see it. Have you ever like typed up something but you typed it into your, into the URL area? But if it's like too long, you can't even fucking see it. Okay. Hey friends, tomorrow, Saturday, June 4th, is my birthday, and I'd love for you to join me for a birthday live stream. It starts at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll go to, you know, question mark. I'll be reading submitted stories from you guys live, and there may or may not be a little bit peanut butter. Fuck. I'll be reading. Fuck, dude. I'll be reading your submitted stories. I'll be reading your submitted stories live, and there may or may not be peanut butter whiskey involved. So either way, I'll see you tomorrow. No, that sounded weird. Either way. What do you mean either way? I need you guys at the fucking thing. I need you there. There's no either way. There's only one way. You guys being there. At my birthday party. My sweet 16. My sweet 32. Everybody remembers their sweet 32. It's a really popular birthday in my culture. Am I gonna do a 1K video special? 1K or 1 million, you mean? And there may or may not be peanut butter whiskey involved. We'll see you tomorrow. 32 is 216. Oh my god, you're right. You're freaking right. So it's pretty much like sweet 16 times fucking 2. It's like way better than that. I should get 2 cars from my super rich dad on MTV. Joe, I'm not coming to your B-Day stream unless... Oh, Hawk hid your message. Unless right now that you'll show your feet. They're out there. They are out there on my OnlyFans. It'd be funny though, like, have the birthday stream and get like less people than normal. I'm like, yeah, okay, I guess that's fine. I guess that's fucking fine. Nobody showed up to my sweet 32. My sweet 16 times, we'll just call it that. It's my sweet 16 times 2. Oh, it's my second sweet 16. I finally can get the pony that I've been fucking waiting for years. Well, friends, oh wait, I gotta read the outro. You guys gotta think of something funny to say. And it better be funny. It better make me piss my pants laughing. Oh my god. You'll be there tomorrow for my birthday stream. Thank you, Jacob. Jacob, you will be the guest of honor. Well, I guess I'll be the guest of honor, but you'll be the guest of sassiness. The cerebral assassin. Yeah, Sweet 48. I can't wait for that. Horror scopes. Oh, there you go. Oh my god, that actually would be a good YouTube channel if it doesn't already exist. Horror scopes, where it's like horror stuff, but it revolves around astrology and it being morbid time. Lila with the 2. Happy 85th birthday. Thank you, Lila. I appreciate that. It would be cool to live to be 85, I guess. I don't know. Say it and remember, it's morbid time. Derailed News and Podcast with a big $20 Reno donation. Says, thank you for everything you do, Joel. Been listening for a month and the recommendations at the recommendation of a viewer almost through the past year, your content. Oh wow, okay. I travel a lot for work and it makes my travel go much faster. Thank you. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate that. That's crazy. Almost through the past year of content. Yeah, I guess there's quite a few years, huh? I mean, I've been grinding videos since I was in diapers, dude. Geminis with their split personalities. Oh, behave. But thank you again, Derailed. Appreciate it. And remember, it's Morbin time. Or I'm saying it's Morbin time. I don't even give a shit. I don't care if the meme's dead. I'm going to keep saying it. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you got a story, be sure to submit them to my subreddit, r/Let'sReadOfficial, and maybe even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks offered for the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories and big compilations and save huge on data, located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, it's Morbin time. Christina with the 10 Buccaraniones. Thank you, Christina. Appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Still gonna wait for the ASMR. I gave like a full thematic ASMR video there. What you could do is you could clip that and then put it on loop for 10 hours. That should do the trick. Joel, I've decided to stop stalking you. I'm tired of all the morbid. I can't handle all this. Spit it out, boy. What's the matter? He's Morbin. What? He's Morbin? Yeah, what does Morbin mean? It means when you have a sex island and nobody ever tries to get you in trouble. Oh, okay, that's weird. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for everything. Appreciate you. Always a fun blast hanging out with you. You guys make life great, honestly. So thank you again. Yeah, I'll get this edited up on Patreon. It's only $1 a month over there for early access. And then I will get this up at 7 p.m. today, EST, on the Let's Read YouTube channel. Also, don't forget new Let's Read podcast episodes every Tuesday, my dudes, at noon EST. All sorts of awesome remastered content. And you get to listen to me read ads once in a while, which is pretty entertaining in my opinion. And they're cool stuff. But yeah, also looking forward to the not drunk. Who knows? Maybe I may or may not be drunk. I could take 50 shots and not feel a thing. You don't know that. I might just be straight Morbin. But yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a drink on Saturday. Come join me. It's going to start at 9 p.m. EST. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you can make time. But fear not. I will be drinking pickle juice with it, so I will be fine. And SJ Curtis, thank you for the 2 Nighty Nightmares, my friend. Thank you, SJ. Oh yeah, hit me up with your music. Tag me in your music if you post it on YouTube or something like that, on Twitter or whatever. Twitter is at Let's Read Creepy. You can follow me on there and hit the notification bell so you can be kept up to date in case the unpredictable notification system of YouTube does not make it to your butt. So whatever you fellow Morbs would like to do, I appreciate you, and I will see you again soon. I love you. Adios. Be there for the Sweet 16 times 2.